What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. 3 Chapter 51 Are all the young people nowadays so fierce? On the land 1,000 meters away from the Alloy City wall, dense swarms of first and second level monsters attacked. It covered the sky and the earth was shaking, and the roars were endless. Faced with this last line of defense, the military's silver armored corps rushed forward first. As the vanguard troops and the elite guarding the demon city, although they are not as pervert as the 9 demon-suppressing armies. But it is obviously also a battle-hardened army that has experienced countless bloody battles. I saw that during the charge, they all subconsciously formed battle formations that were both offensive and defensive. 10 people form a small team, 100 people form a large team, and they are unstoppable. Kill. Once the collision occurred, the armored soldiers began to display their special abilities. In the team of 10, there were speed-type awakeners, defense-type awakeners, and those with special control abilities. They worked together in perfect harmony and actually suppressed the first batch of monsters. When Chu Kuang saw this scene, he nodded secretly, although the garrison troops in the base city were not as well selected as the 9 demon-suppressing armies. But unexpectedly, he performed unexpectedly well and was transferred by the headquarters as the temporary commander this time. He was still worried about the soldiers' compatibility. Now it seems that although they are not as good as the 9 demon-suppressing armies, they are still pretty good. Thinking of this, Chu Kuang turned his head and looked at the summoned awakeners who had already rushed out below, but his brows were frowned. It's too scattered. In comparison, this group of recruited awakeners is like a pile of loose sand, even though they have their own small team. But they are still fighting each other, and I am afraid they cannot withstand the impact of the first wave of the Black Sea. Just as he thought, after the armored corps charged and buffered the tide of monsters, even the monsters that were missed were killed. This group of awakened people were also trying to defend themselves hastily. Soon, casualties occurred. Damn it, how dare you sneak attack me, don't. No, I can't hold it, my hand was bitten off. Quick, back to back, don't get surrounded by them. Damn it. There are too many monsters, and I can't use my speed ability. The awakened ones all looked panicked, and screams and cries of fear continued to be heard. The momentum that had just risen was extinguished in an instant. Of course, most of these are ordinary awakened cultivators, and as the fighting continues. On the human side, some teams among the recruited silver awakeners began to emerge and their performance was astonishing. Like a sharp knife, rushing through the tide of monsters. These people are actually comparable to the armored soldiers. They are all pioneering teams and elite guards trained by the major forces in the Magic City. All of them are Silver 9 stars and have received excellent training. In addition, some of the already famous Alliance Awakener teams are not much inferior. Advertisement after the initial discomfort, they launched an extremely fierce attack. At this time, following behind the first group of awakened ones, Sumo looked at the densely packed monsters in front of him, his eyes shining. His figure alone was also very conspicuous among the people rushing out. Because other independent awakened cultivators, even if they came alone, will subconsciously get close to each other at this moment. Form a temporary team. Sumo, on the other hand, rushed forward alone, and there was no awakened person within 10 meters around him. If you get ambushed and have no one to take care of you, you'll definitely die. Looking at his slightly young face, the Diamond Awakeners standing on the platform and taking care of him all shook their heads. I was young and frivolous. This kid. The teachers at Shanghai University who were in charge of this care mission were also extremely troubled and were ready to provide protection at any time. Feng Xiaoyao reminded before leaving that if Sumo participated in this training, he must be well protected. If Sumo were to make any mishap when he returns, They still remember that sneer clearly. Even Chu Kuang on the platform frowned and glanced at Sumo. With his cultivation level, he could naturally sense that Sumo was only at the Black Iron 6-star level. This young man. Why are you so stubborn instead of standing behind the group of Silver Awakeners and working together to detect leaks? Are you rushing up to seek death? Snort. With a cold snort, he withdrew his gaze. He admired young people who had courage, but he hated those who were ignorant and conceited. Sumo, who was running towards the monster tide, certainly didn't know how eye-catching his behavior was at this time. Because at this moment, all he had eyes for were energy points. Buzz. With a buzzing sound, a white halo suddenly appeared above Sumo's iron fist. The spiritual energy and physical strength of the Black Iron 6 stars together stimulated the power of vibration, and the halo continued to expand. After running for hundreds of meters again, the tide of monsters finally came to him. Kill. Facing the monster rushing towards him, Sumo raised the corner of his mouth slightly and immediately threw out the punch that he had been accumulating power for a long time. Snap. A strange sound of glass breaking was heard, and cracks in space spread out. Click, click, advertisement in an instant, it covered an area of nearly 20 meters. Buzz. The invisible waves also spread out in the next moment. Boom. Bound, with a loud explosion, all the first level or even early to middle level monsters that were shaken by this invisible wave. They all turned into blood mist. Even those in the late second stage had multiple joints broken and flew backwards, losing the ability to move. Ding. The host killed the first stage late stage demon wolf and obtained 51 energy points. Ding. The host killed the first stage initial stage hornless horse and obtained 18 energy points. Ding. The host killed the second stage early stage flame snake and gained 160 energy points. Ding. Host killed an early stage first level. A large number of prompts immediately popped up in Sumo's mind. It feels great. Grinning, Sumo threw another punch. Buzz. Invisible ripples spread. More than 50 meters ahead, another large group of monsters exploded into a bloody mist. F*K. What are these things? The psychic bullet went astray. Behind him, a team of awakened people who followed Sumo to kill him slammed on the brakes and swore on the spot. And on the platform, Chu Kuang looked over again, his extremely dignified square face filled with astonishment. He stared at Sumo intently, then turned to look at the adjutant beside him. Sense this kid's cultivation. The adjutant was also shocked at this moment, because he had just witnessed all of Sumo's actions. Swallowing his saliva, the adjutant Kaido said, "Sir, this boy has the cultivation level of Black Iron 6 stars." When Chu Kuang heard this, his eyes twitched and he fell silent. After a long while, he sighed quietly. I was wrong. Are all young people nowadays so fierce? Black Iron 6 stars, killing hundreds of monsters with 2 punches? There are even second-level monsters among them. If it weren't for his strong psychological quality and being a famous iron-blooded general, he would have probably not been able to help but exclaim, F*K. Chapter 52. This boy has the potential to be crowned king. Taking a deep breath, Chu Kuang looked at the adjutant again. He should still be a student, check it out. Since the extraordinary era, such combat power has been able to be unleashed in the Black Iron realm. There are so many evildoers like this that you can count them on 10 fingers. Although it might be an explosive attack that cannot last long, it is definitely a monster among monsters. This iron-blooded madman was extremely curious at this moment. Which powerful force does this kid belong to? The adjutant immediately clicked on his bracelet, and a virtual screen quickly popped up. After a while of operation, his eyes widened, and then he exclaimed, Sir, this young man is incredible. Chu Kuang looked over quickly. I saw records about Sumo being written on the virtual screen. An orphan from Tianhai City, born in a commoner family, a hardworking senior high school student in number 3 middle school, Iron Man Sumo. During the awakening ceremony, I awakened the S-level special attack ability Demon Shock Force, creating miracles as a commoner, close black lens bracket. Within half a month, the enrollment level has reached Black Iron 6 stars. The battle space broke the record of Senior Morong, creating 888 consecutive victories, unprecedented. In the friendly match, he swept all the specially recruited freshmen and became the top student ahead of time with his invincible appearance. The supernatural power is suspected to be based on one's state of mind. Sword skills, body skills, and physical skills are all very accomplished. This boy has the potential to be crowned king. Looking at the records, Chu Kuang was silent for a while before he uttered these words. Because of the talent Sumo has shown, only this sentence can express his feelings at the moment. It takes a commoner to suppress the awakened children of aristocratic family who enjoy the assistance of medicinal herbs. How much perseverance and persistence does it take? At this moment, he obtained the legendary S-level talent and took off directly. Such an opportunity was simply a miracle. As long as he doesn't die halfway, he will definitely become king. And at this time, on the platform, many powerful people from major forces were all stunned at this moment. Sumo rushed to the front alone, which had already attracted their attention. Now, they couldn't take their eyes off him. He stared at Sumo for a long time without saying a word. Soon, they also began to look up Sumo's information. When seeing these records, everyone was like a madman from Chu State, unable to calm down. Genius? Evildoer? I'm afraid it's not enough. Pervert? Only pervert can explain this year's top student of Shanghai University. Even the teachers at Magic City University were impressed by the strength displayed by Sumo. Also remained silent. I finally understood why Feng Xiaoyao valued Sumo so much and why he made an exception for him and promoted him to the top student. Advertisement because such a genius is so worth it. Shangguan Feiyan, who was following behind Sumo, also froze on her beautiful face. Junior. He really retained his strength. During that sparring session, he really made me feel that, even though we were at the same level, I had no way of withstanding such a punch. For a moment, Shangguan Feiyan felt a little unwilling, but soon she was filled with fighting spirit and the corners of her mouth curled up slightly. Yi Xiaoshui, who had followed her, came to her side at this time. Not noticing the smile on her face, she snorted. This stinky junior is just pretending to be a pig and eating the tiger. Feiyan, ignore him. He doesn't need your protection at all with his strength. He is more like protecting us. Shangguan Feiyan shook her head. Junior brother won't be able to withstand such an attack for long, we should stay by his side. After saying that, Shangguan Feiyan continued to catch up with Sumo. Ah, Yi Xiaoshui was going crazy. Did Sumo have a magnet on his body? Why is Feiyan so attractive? Although she was extremely angry, she still chased after him. If we were to ask who is the calmest person at the scene at this moment, it would definitely be Cheng Wushang. Looking at the exaggerated movement in front of him, He sighed. He is worthy of being my brother Mo. After all, knowing Sumo's true strength, this little commotion is nothing. Brother Mo is already considered low-key. Otherwise, if it goes full force, the noise will at least increase several times, and it will definitely be the most beautiful one in the whole venue. Thinking secretly, he immediately rushed towards Sumo. In front. After Sumo threw 2 punches, his energy points soared. After a while, he made several thousand points, and this is just the beginning. In the past, how could such a good thing happen in the wild? Without some luck, and even a lot of time searching, you won't be able to find so many monsters. He was in an extremely happy mood, and just when he was about to throw 7 or 8 punches, he was slightly stunned. Because in the perception of observation, everyone seemed to be staring at him. Forehead, isn't that a bit too high profile? For the sake of energy points, it seems that I got a little carried away. Damn. This conflicts with my philosophy, to be low-key, low-key. Thinking of this, he began to compress the spatial scope of the shock force, but the power did not change at all. Damn it, if I throw out 7 or 8 more punches like this AoE. The black iron realm he displayed was indeed a bit unreasonable. Well, use the knife more often. Advertisement holding the alloy guando, Sumo immediately swept it across. The terrifying blade light directly knocked down more than 10 first-level monsters that were rushing towards it. Puff 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 puff, the bright red blood flowing on the blade was particularly shocking. The next moment, without any hesitation, he rushed into the most densely packed crowd of monsters with his alloy guandao in hand. The blade was sharp, and every swing and every burst of punch could kill dozens of monsters on the spot. Some insidious monsters that wanted to sneak attack him all ended in failure due to his all-round perception of observation haki and had to be slaughtered. At this moment, Sumo may not know how shocking his figure, who is able to hold his own against 10,000 enemies, is. He was so relaxed and at ease, not showing any sign of panic in the face of overwhelming monsters, just like a god of war. Don't even mention being low-key, I can be as high profile as I want. It is even more shocking than the 2 large area AoEs just now. Visual effects explosion. On the high platform of the city wall, the diamond warriors who were watching the whole process of Sumo's fight murmured, "Too perfect." In their eyes, Sumo is an almighty monster, responsiveness. Evasion ability, physical strength, speed body, physical fighting, swordsmanship. None of them are ordinary, coupled with that special ability of strong attack. It's absolutely flawless. There is no doubt that this year's top freshman at Magic City University is definitely the most dazzling presence on the battlefield at this moment. More eye-catching than the soldiers in armor, more eye-catching than the teams with sharp knives, and more eye-catching than anyone else. The efficiency of killing monsters is even more exaggerated than that of 200 elite soldiers combined. He can defeat 1,000 with 1, and depending on his future trend, if nothing unexpected happens, he could even defeat 10,000. At this time, Shangguan Feiyan, Yi Xiaoshui, and Cheng Wushang had already killed their way within 50 meters of Sumo. The 3 of them huddled together at this moment, and Yi Xiaoshui, who was at the silver 5-star level, used the ice and red flame to kill and freeze the monsters. Shangguan Feiyan was like a Valkyrie, with dozens of particle swords in her immortal sword armor spinning continuously within a range of 10 meters. Pierce through one monster after another. As for Cheng Wushang, due to his low level of cultivation, he could only hide behind the 2 women and fight against the first-level monsters that were rushing towards him. But he is also extremely brave. Monsters below the 2nd level cannot survive more than a few rounds under his sharp claws. The coordination and strength shown by the 3 at this moment are even more impressive than those of the awakened teams such as the armored soldiers. Brother Mo, you pretend over there, we're here. After tearing a first-level monster to pieces, Cheng Wushang immediately grinned in the direction of Sumo and said jokingly, "If you can't stand it anymore, remember to tell her that she will come over to protect you." Chapter 53. Monster Tide, Bad News. Boom. A knocking sound was heard, and Yi Xiaoshui glared fiercely at Cheng Wushang who was standing beside her. "You little brat, you're still in the mood to tease? Believe it or not, Fei Yan and I will leave you here right now. And Fei Yan will not protect that boy." As she spoke, she waved her left hand and a sky-blue flame surged out, igniting the 1st and 2nd level monsters that pounced on Cheng Wushang. Burning fiercely, the ignited monster rolled over in pain, frozen to the point of being unable to move. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Immediately afterwards, Shangguan Feiyan's particle sword, which was floating around to protect the 2 of them, quickly pierced through these monsters. Cheng Wushang glanced at Yi Xiaoshui who jumped up and knocked on his lion's head, and suddenly dared not say anything more. But in my heart I was complaining madly, damn it. Senior sister Shangguan didn't say anything about others and even blushed. But you, senior sister Yi, just like to meddle in other people's business. Lily? You are impossible. My brother Mo's charm is so great that if I were a woman, I would definitely be his bootlicker. Thinking secretly, Cheng Wushang stopped slacking off and started killing the monsters seriously. At the same time, he was also practicing the Benlei body technique that brother Mo had given him, with his mighty Haki's limbs performing mysterious steps. The entire lion's body was like a bolt of lightning, and its speed was obviously much faster than the normal lion's steps. From this we can see that Cheng Wushang's talent is indeed amazing. In less than a week, from the time Sumo gave him the Thunder Body skill to now, he has already achieved some success. I believe that in a short time, he will be able to get started. On the other side, Sumo naturally heard Chang Wushang's teasing, and couldn't help shaking his head and laughing. This stinky boy, my brother was worried that he would be swallowed by the monster. Now it seems that he is fine for the time being. The words fell. Facing a mid-stage second-level tiger monster that was rushing towards him, he turned around and punched it. Tianong Demon Fist. Psychic energy and physical strength were compressed and blended together, and extremely violent fist power suddenly surged out. Roar. Accompanied by a low demonic roar, the punch full of power hit the demonic tiger directly in the face. The next moment, the extremely violent force of the punch turned him into a ball of bloody mist on the spot, leaving no trace of his body. Advertisement, ding. The host killed the second-stage mid-stage iron-armored tiger and obtained 260 energy points. What a violent punch. Sumo was secretly shocked. This was his first time using the Tiangang Demon Fist, and he didn't expect it to be so ferocious. It is truly worthy of being a top-notch martial art of intermediate grade. Of course, he also knew that it was the combination of his perverted physical strength, his psychic power which was purer than that of his peers, and his profound physical skills that produced such an effect. If it were an ordinary person, let alone whether they could control such a violent fist force, just practicing the Tianong Demon Fist would be a problem. With a grin, Sumo immediately became even crazier. He planned to do two things at once, holding the sword in his left hand to perform the nine-handed sword slash, while controlling the violent Tianong Demon Fist with his right hand. Although he was a little unfamiliar with it at the beginning, with gradual practice, he actually mastered the skill of multitasking. So cool! Not only can you kill monsters and obtain energy points, but you can also effectively hone your martial arts. This tide of monsters is truly a great environment for squeezing out human potential. If those awakened ones who had died tragically at the mouths of monsters knew what he was thinking at this moment, he will definitely be so angry that he will come back to life. In order to survive, they, the ordinary awakeners, risked their lives to participate in this recruitment and earn psychic stones. These geniuses are used as a place to hone their skills. Well, comparing yourself to others will only make you angry to death. No, it will make you angry to life. Soon, several hours passed, but the tide of monsters seemed endless and kept rushing towards them. On the human side, casualties are occurring more and more frequently, and they are beginning to run out of strength and their offensive is weakening. On the platform, Chu Kuang watched this scene and shouted majestically. Awakeners with strong melee ability should not rely too much on superpowers. All of them should use alloy weapons instead and arrange their psychic energy reasonably. Hold on for another half an hour. When the first group of awakened people have finished resting, replace them immediately. In this kind of large-scale fighting, the Diamond Awakeners on the platform actually want to save as many people as possible. But it is impossible to cover everything, and the current casualties are still within an acceptable range. If they hadn't come to the rescue within these 3 hours, the casualties would have been several times higher. War is so cruel. Human beings are weak, and only through bloody battles can they survive more tenaciously, so sacrifice is inevitable. At this time, those who can still hold on the battlefield are undoubtedly people with great perseverance and will be able to achieve something in the future. Even if your hands and feet are numb and feel like they are filled with lead, you have to grit your teeth and hold on. At Shangguan Feiyan's side, the three of them were naturally still holding on, taking medicines to restore their spiritual energy while fighting. Advertisement. Cheng Wushang looked towards where Sumo was. There, the corpses of monsters had piled up into a mountain, but the blood-stained figure above was still like a god of war. He killed as many as came, and became more and more ferocious, with an imposing manner. My brother Mo is so fierce, he sighed, then gritted his teeth and held on. The two women on the side also had beads of sweat on their foreheads. When they looked up, they were shocked by the scene. Yi Xiaoshui. I have to admit, this stinky junior is really awesome. Shangguan Feiyan's beautiful eyes flickered as she stared at the figure, and then she fought even harder and more frantically. As for the Diamond Awakeners on the platform, they were either praising or flattering. This boy's perseverance is something I have rarely seen in my life. With such talent and perseverance, in the future, this will definitely be the hope for mankind to fight against monsters. Modu University has really found a treasure this year. A while ago, I heard that there was a super demon with dual powers at Taikyo University, and it was all over the place. But now it seems that this guy from Modu University is more like a real super demon, right? No, it might be more appropriate to call him a super pervert. Haha. After this monster wave is over, I will definitely go watch this year's freshman competition. This year's young people are incredible, incredible. A group of Diamond Awakeners, while watching the battlefield below, also paid attention and stared at Sumo from beginning to end. Chu Kuang did the same. While commanding the battlefield, he looked at Sumo and smiled. If this kid can successfully graduate and join the 9 demon suppression armies in the future and study hard, he will definitely be an invincible admiral. It will be a blessing for us humans. Smiling, he immediately looked down at the battlefield and shouted, "Start replacing people." Some awakened ones who were struggling to hold on heaved a sigh of relief upon hearing this, and immediately exchanged with the first group of awakened ones who had rested. The bloody battle continues. A day and a night later, on the battlefield, human corpses and monster corpses were intertwined. But if you look closely, the monsters are still more tragic, with a casualty ratio of almost 100 to 1. I don't know after which wave of awakeners took over, it suddenly happened. A loud roar came from beyond the horizon, from somewhere unknown. The monsters that were charging continuously stopped and turned around to flee back to the Abyss territory. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. At this moment, the adjutant next to Chu Kuang seemed to have received some news and his face suddenly changed. He leaned close to Chu Kuang's ear and whispered with an unpleasant expression. What? Hearing the news, Chu Kuang's square face, which looked dignified without him getting angry, suddenly changed color. Chapter 54. Great Crisis. Everyone was wondering why the monster tide fled back. Such incredible behavior would have been impossible in the past. The wave of monsters in the dangerous land of Yugu 3 years ago lasted for almost a week. How come this time, the monster tide from the Abyss territory was even larger than the last time, but it fled back after only 2 days of attack? And the terrifying roar just now, what is going on? The more they thought about it, the more confused they became. But some Diamond Awakeners clearly noticed that something was wrong with Chu Kuang. They all looked at Chu Kuang with confusion in their eyes. Chu Kuang's face looked very ugly at this moment, almost as black as the bottom of a pot, and all iron blue. Taking a deep breath, he said in a trembling voice, "Everyone, we have fallen into a trap." As soon as these words came out, the bodies of all the Diamond Awakeners trembled slightly, their faces began to look uneasy, and they continued to look at Chu Kuang. The news that could move this iron-blooded general so much and make his voice tremble must be very extraordinary. Chu Kuang gritted his teeth and said, "The unusual movement in the Abyss territory this time, the big monster promoted to the 5th level demon general, and the fierce monster wave this time are just feints. The real target of this group of monsters is the fortress in the south. At this time, the high-level monsters that have lurked in most of the dangerous places near the Magic City are heading towards the southern fortress. With the current defense of the southern fortress, I am afraid that it cannot be defended at all. Damn it. What method did these damn monsters use to avoid our detection? Damn it." The words fell. The faces of all the Diamond Awakeners changed drastically. His body swayed and he almost lost his balance. These monsters actually played this trick? Use the strange activities in the Abyss territory for a month and the movement of the monster being promoted to the 5th level to divert attention. Then, it used some unknown means to avoid human detection. The high-level monsters that secretly gathered in most of the dangerous places were lurking in the dangerous watery area where there were almost no second-level monsters. Just waiting for this fatal blow. And they took advantage of the short break when the blood-killing army, one of the 9 demon suppression armies, which is directly under the demon city, was out. Damn it. Advertisement. This was a long-running plan, and we were well prepared. General Chu, what should we do now? The faces of all the Diamond Awakeners were extremely ugly, and they looked at Chu Kuang nervously. They knew that this time, the fortress in the south might be breached, or even destroyed. It will also threaten the demon city. Crisis. An absolute crisis. This situation is several times more dangerous than the hasty battle 3 years ago. After all, although that time was very hasty, the scale of the monster tide was not large, and humans were still able to defend themselves by being straightforward. But this time, it was obviously different. This group of monsters actually used strategy. This was simply impossible in the past. It's totally inconsistent with the monsters' habit of charging around and attacking cities savagely. On the platform, after the initial panic, Chu Kuang had regained his composure. He looked at everyone and said resolutely, "Principal Feng and his men have already rushed to the southern fortress. Even now, the headquarters has notified all high-level awakeners in the Magic City. No matter if they are in seclusion or doing something else, they must go there and must not disobey orders. Fight to the death and hold on until the blood-killing army returns. As long as we let the blood-killing army go to Kunhua City, the nearest space teleportation point, at any cost, we will have a chance to catch up. No matter how great the sacrifice, we must protect the Magic City." After saying that, he turned to look at his adjutant beside him and said, "Don't take the battlefield here seriously. Even if there is a possibility of a counterattack, ignore it. After reorganizing, lead the remaining awakeners to catch up." The adjutant looked serious. "Yes, General." Nodding, Chu Kuang called the remaining Diamond Awakeners to fly back to the Magic City and rush to the southern fortress. The only ones left at the scene were low-level awakeners with uneasy looks on their faces. Chu Kuang did not hesitate to say what he said just now, but said it out loud on the spot, so they all heard it clearly. For a moment, everyone was at a loss. The real purpose of the monsters is actually the southern fortress. Damn, when did these monsters become so smart? I thought this wave of monsters was terrifying enough, but I didn't expect that this was just a feint. What's the situation over there now? I just said that they are all high-level monsters, almost covering most of the high-level monsters in the dangerous areas nearby. Oh my god. With our cultivation level, can we really defend it? Advertisement. Don't make any noise, just follow the military's instructions. Standing on the mountain of monster corpses, Sumo's expression became serious. Although it was just a few words, but through Chu Kuang's expression and attitude, he knew that this time, there was definitely a huge crisis for the demon city. If even one thing goes wrong, there is a possibility of collapse. At this time, Shangguan Feiyan and Yi Xiaoshui came to Sumo with pale faces, and Cheng Wushang also looked confused. Sumo looked at the two girls with a worried look on his face, and asked quickly, "Senior sister, what's going on?" The general just said that he would notify all the forces and high-level awakeners in the Magic City. Could it be? Shangguan Feiyan bit her teeth and said, "Well, the Shangguan family and Xiaoshui's Yi family are going to fight the war. Father and his men have already gone there, and, based on the actions of the monsters this time, it is very likely that the Demon King will descend." Devil, Sumo glared. This is equivalent to a powerful human being who has become a king. This time, the Demon King was dispatched. He is like a king among the monsters. Sumo swallowed his saliva and felt his scalp tingling. He could already foresee how tragic this time would be. Looking at Shangguan Feiyan who was worried, Sumo could only comfort her. "It's okay, senior sister, we humans will definitely be able to get through this safely. Isn't it always like this for so many years?" Shangguan Feiyan's expression calmed down after hearing this. Yeah. Yi Xiaoshui's beautiful eyes were reddened. In the past, whenever the Demon King was involved in a battle, our human sacrifices would be tragic, and this time our human side was set up, father and the others. Having said this, she was a little unable to continue. Looking at the two women, at this moment, Sumo finally understood that 1,000 years had passed. They humans are still unable to fight against the monsters, and can only make countless sacrifices to maintain survival, yes, survival. In front of truly powerful monsters, they can't really survive. He shook his head and stopped thinking about it. He was still too weak to participate in a war of this level. Well, still not strong enough. At this time, after Chu Kuang left, the adjutant began to direct the scene. The garrison troops will stay here. The rest of the awakened ones, after you have rested, follow me back to the demon city. As for the rewards, the government will settle them one by one after we survive this disaster. Now, return to the demon city immediately. Chapter 55. Dark clouds over the city, southern fortresses are breached one after another. At this time, at the first war fortress in the south, overwhelming numbers of high-level monsters are charging towards us, although their numbers may not be as large as the base number of low-level monsters. But the scene was hundreds of times more depressing than the tide of monsters in the Abyss territory. Above the sky, dark clouds rolled, and the breath of demons was so thick that even the space became blurred. At a glance, huge and majestic black shadows were looming in the thick black fog, and low and suppressed roars continued. There isn't even a single monster below level 3, the lowest monsters are level 3. And in the dense area in the center, there were human-shaped black shadows. They were standing on the sky at this moment, driving the towering black shadows below to rush over. Demon City. Humans, I, the evil Dragon King, am here. A majestic, deep and domineering voice suddenly resounded through the sky and echoed for a long time. The thick demonic aura suddenly surged the moment the sound was heard, covering the sky and the earth. The area within a radius of thousands of miles was completely covered. Roar, 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 roar. At this moment, the demons responded with earth-shaking roars, becoming excited. Soon, on top of the southern fortress, the garrison troops who were on high alert saw the endless thick black clouds. Feeling the extremely oppressive atmosphere, the faces of these soldiers, who only had silver cultivation, turned pale. The Diamond Realm general who had been guarding this place for many years had an ugly face at this time, but he still forced himself to cheer up and shouted, "Come on, don't be afraid. The headquarters has already issued an order. Support will arrive soon. No matter what, we must hold on. Even if we die, we can't let them set foot in our homeland. Soldiers are brave and fearless." He fell down with a resolute roar. Fearless and fearless. Fearless and fearless. Fearless and fearless, to protect our homeland. Behind him, a group of armored soldiers roared and their momentum was regathered at this time. They are soldiers, the swords that protect the country. Never retreat. Never. Even if I die, I will die standing. One by one, the psychic crystal cannons were opened, and thousands of them were aimed at the thick black clouds that could not be seen in the sky. Bound, bound, bound. Groups of psychic bullets were fired at the same time, instantly filling the sky. However, faced with such an overwhelming number of high-level monsters, almost all the big monsters in the surrounding dangerous areas. Advertisement. These psychic bullets couldn't even break through the thick black cloud outside. They seemed to have fallen into a quagmire, not even splashing a single drop of water. They all disappeared without a trace. Ants. At this moment, that domineering low voice sounded softly. Then, a group of towering black shadows appeared below, spewing out a large number of long-range attacks. There is black flame. There was thunder and lightning. There is a gusty blade. There are endless waves. Endless terrifying energy bombarded the alloy fortress. Quick, open the protective shield. The Diamond Realm general's face suddenly changed, and he roared, "Increase the energy to the maximum." Buzz. A light blue circular halo immediately enveloped the entire southern fortress, boundless and completely protecting it. Those terrifying energies instantly hit the protective shield. There was silence at first, and then a deafening and dull roar suddenly broke out. Boom. Click, click. The protective shield only lasted for less than a few seconds before it cracked and the cracks spread out. And the next moment, buzz. It was completely shattered, and the remaining energy covered the entire alloy wall with the force of a dark cloud. The Diamond General roared, and spiritual energy burst out of his body, and the ancient golden long sword in his hand slashed out. Swish. 1,000-foot-long sword energy formed by spiritual energy rushed towards the overwhelming energy attack. The awakened ones, in addition to using superpowers as a basic means of attack, have opened up psychic springs when they reach the gold realm, and can also use psychic energy as a means of attack to kill the enemy. Diamond awakened ones can even use this method in a variety of ways and bring it to the ultimate level. While using psychic energy to stimulate superpowers, they can still have enough energy to make such a terrifying slash. The 1,000-foot-long sword energy slashed across the sea of energy, once again resisting the downward pressure. Kill. Upon seeing this, the Diamond General immediately roared and flew into the air, unleashing his own B-level supernatural power, the Golden Halo. Advertisement. It is a special type of protective ability. A large amount of golden light instantly formed a wall thousands of meters high, trying to block the remaining energy. But at this moment, buzz. A thumb-sized beam of black light shot out from the thick black cloud, so fast that it seemed to have crossed space. Phew. In the blink of an eye, the black light penetrated the golden wall and the head of the Diamond General. I don't know what it means. Another voice came from the dark clouds, with a hoarse voice and a sinister smile. With the death of the Diamond General, the golden wall immediately dissipated, and the sea of energy bombarded the fortress wall without any hindrance. Boom. This war fortress that had guarded the demon city for many years collapsed on the spot. And accompanied by a large amount of energy attacks gushing out from the thick black cloud again, it was directly razed to the ground. Quote. In an armored vehicle heading to the southern part of Magic City, Sumo and others looked at the screen in front of them that had gone dark and fell silent for a moment. The video of the destruction of the first war fortress made them tremble with fear, and the extremely depressing black cloud made them feel depressed. As if entering an empty land, they swept through every place they passed. In less than an hour, they destroyed 2 war fortresses. Now it is very likely that they have reached the 3rd war fortress in the south. And the strong men in the demon city are still on their way. Such a surprise attack, coupled with the ability to block detection, is simply despairing. Without the 9 demon suppression armies, can we really defend the demon city? Staring at the video, Yi Xiaoshui's face looked miserable. In terms of high-end power, let's not talk about whether all the strong men in the Magic City can resist it, let's just talk about the backbone power. Without the assistance of the 9 demon suppressing armies, it is obvious that they will be no match. Every member of the 9 demon suppressing armies, even the lowliest soldier, is an awakened one in the Golden Realm. The minimum requirement is that they all have B-level abilities, and they must be elite ones picked from thousands. It can be said that the backbone of mankind's fight against monsters is the 9 demon suppressing armies. Now that the blood-killing army, one of the 9 demon suppressing armies directly under the demon city, is gone, what can they use to fight back? Driving the armored vehicle, Bo Lao sighed helplessly. We are too eager to regain our territory. In the past 20 years, we humans have not faced such a big crisis, so we have become lax. In the past, even when we went out to fight, the blood-killing army would keep 2/4 of its forces in the Magic City. But this time, in order to regain another precious land, we were too impulsive. But we have no choice. Monsters grow and reproduce much faster than humans. Only the treasure land can help us humans grow quickly. The government is taking a gamble to win the future. In short, if we want to defend the demon city this time, we must think twice before acting. Alas. Chapter 56. Sacrifice the self to protect the greater self. Treasure land. As Mr. Bo finished speaking, Sumo's eyes flashed. The knowledge about the treasure land was also popularized by the teachers in high school. This is a secret place where psychic energy vortexes can be born. It is an independent small world. Within this treasure land, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth is extremely pure, and can be directly absorbed to improve one's cultivation. It is more than 100 times more powerful than absorbing the psychic stone. It's like being in a world full of high-level psychic stones, you can absorb them at will, and the practice is incredible. Those with strong talents will feel like fish in water and can improve their cultivation by leaps and bounds. Those top-level psychic energy veins, even the legendary psychic energy veins, are basically only generated with a high probability in treasure lands. And within this treasure land, under the long-term cleansing of pure spiritual energy, many natural treasures with miraculous powers will be born. The reason why human beings have been able to hold on for so long is that they have reached the situation where they can barely survive today. It was because of the discovery of the treasure land in the early years that we were able to have the opportunity to rise. Therefore, the government attaches so much importance to the precious land. Once discovered, it will definitely send the strongest army, the 9 demon suppressing armies, to open up the land. But this time, he was obviously too desperate, and was deceived by the monster's inertia that had been lurking for 20 years, and he got the better of it. Thinking of this, Sumo sighed softly. Under the current situation, the blood-killing army is obviously unable to continue suppressing the treasure land, and can only rush back to the demon city. Is the treasure land more important, or is the magic city more important? You know it without thinking. Although the precious land is important, it is the key to gaining a glimmer of hope for the future of mankind. But if the roots are gone, everything is gone. Dee Dee. Dad, the phone is ringing. Dad, the phone is ringing. At this time, the high-tech watch that Sumo had just bought rang, and it was the familiar ringtone. Seeing that it was Yan Yun calling, Sumo quickly clicked on it. A virtual screen suddenly popped up. Advertisement. Soon, Yan Yun's beautiful face appeared on the video. This time, she didn't say any more dirty talk, but looked serious. Brother, Feiyan, are you okay? The tone was full of concern. Sumo also nodded. Teacher, the situation here. Yan Yun took a deep breath and said, I know everything. In just half an hour, the situation has become increasingly serious. The Six Paths War Fortress in the south has been breached, and only the last one is left. The Demon City will face these monsters directly. Fortunately, Senior Morong and Senior Gu have already forced the Demon King into the rest of the space. Although they are at a disadvantage, at least they have been able to isolate the biggest hidden danger. In addition, the headquarters has also made up their minds. They would rather sacrifice the defense forces of the other 4 top cities and spend a lot of money to send the 9 demon suppression armies over. They must protect the demon city and sacrifice the small self to protect the big self. The Bingalan King, Morong Changkong. King of Death, Ji Chungfang. Sure enough, the 2 powerful kings of Demon City also came out. Shocked in their hearts, Sumo and the other 4 all breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. Top forces are deployed, coupled with more stable support. If this is the case, the losses of the Magic City can definitely be minimized. Even as long as the other 4 top cities are not attacked during this period, it will be a huge profit. Even if someone takes advantage of the opportunity to attack the city, we will still be able to protect ourselves, and at most the losses will be smaller. As for the other 4 top cities, are they also being besieged by monsters from dangerous places like the Magic City? Doesn't exist. This time, Shanghai is definitely an exception. You know, since the extraordinary era, the monsters have not been very united. If everyone really worked together to design something like this, humans would have been extinct long ago. That's why. The Demon City was designed because of the monsters' habits, which led to their carelessness, and the discovery of a treasure land. After all, who could have thought that a group of dangerous places that were originally at odds with each other would actually unite to plan something? After this incident, all major cities will definitely be on guard against this. Of course, for now we still have to survive this disaster. Okay, from now on, just leave it to the government to deal with. You can go back to school. Yan Yun said seriously. After all, you are the hope of mankind. Even if the Demon City is really destroyed, you can't be in trouble. Advertisement. If they were really worried about the situation, the government would have already turned on the official TV, where they would be reporting live. After that, Yan Yun reminded in a very serious tone, remember, don't go, just stay in school. If something really happens, we have a hidden teleportation space array in Modu University that will protect you. Sumo and Shangguan Feiyan nodded at the same time. I understand, teacher. Of course, Sumo didn't know what Shangguan Feiyan was thinking, but he definitely had some ideas. After a day and a night of fighting, he obtained a large number of energy points, more than the psychic energy veins he obtained that time. Go back to school and make good use of it, then make plans. The military said that those below the Gold Realm should not participate in the war, but after a wave of upgrades, does his strength allow it? Soon, the armored vehicle changed direction and rushed back to Mudu University. Bo Lao and Yan Yun have the same idea that the safety of Shangguan Feiyan and others is the most important thing. Moreover, the master has ordered that the young lady is not allowed to go to the south, and if necessary, she must be immediately teleported to another city. As for the young master, he had already led his team to the south, which made the old master very angry. After a while, the armored vehicle drove into Mudu University. At this time, many sophomores and juniors had already returned. Li Tianyi and Morongzi were also among them. This time, the 2 of them actually performed quite well, but compared to Sumo, they were far behind. Even Cheng Wushang's performance was much better than the other 2. As special recruits from the same class, the 2 of them may not be able to compare with Sumo, the pervert, but they were left behind by Cheng Wushang. Naturally, I feel unwilling inside. At this time, Morongzi also got off the armored vehicle, her pretty face full of worry. The housekeeper who was following beside her comforted her at this time. It's okay, miss. With Senior Gu's help, Grandpa will be fine. Morongzi nodded when she heard that, then stepped into the school gate and happened to see Sumo who had just gotten off the bus. A pair of beautiful eyes suddenly showed a complicated and unwilling look. In the last friendly match, she was the most embarrassed special recruit. The man knocked her out in one move, and she was carried away unconscious. She then had to stay in her own hospital for 3 days before she could get out of bed. So embarrassing. The butler next to her was a powerful diamond warrior. He happened to be watching over his young lady when he saw Sumo's pervert fight. The housekeeper saw that his young lady was looking at Sumo unwillingly, so he shook his head. After the young lady was knocked down last time, the ancestor of the family, Murong Changkong, was not angry. Instead, he admired Sumo and said that the young lady was not as skilled as others and it was no one's fault. Instead, he kept praising Sumo for breaking his record. He even said that he must invite this chief student to the Murong family one day to take a good look at him. Chapter 57 Intermediate Armament Color. Feeling someone was staring at him, Sumo turned around and immediately met that pair of beautiful eyes filled with reluctance. The corner of his mouth twitched, but he still nodded. After all, they would be classmates in the future and there was no great hatred between them. Surface relationships are still necessary. Besides, I defeated this girl in seconds last time, and I don't know how the Murong family will react, and whether they will hold a grudge against me. A family with a powerful king. But after thinking about it again, Sumo felt that he was overthinking it. The Murong family has a pretty good reputation in Shanghai, except that the girl's personality is not very pleasant and she is a little spoiled. Otherwise, there aren't any black spots, and he probably won't do anything to bully the weak. Soon, Sumo and others returned to the dormitory. Junior, you haven't rested for a whole day and night. You must be hungry now, right? I'll go make something to eat. As soon as they entered Villa No. 10, Shangguan Fei enforced herself to be alert and spoke softly. Although there was still a hint of worry in the corners of her eyes, she was obviously much stronger than Yi Xiaoshui. Unlike the latter, she still looked weak with red eyes. Sumo shook her head. Senior sister, you are tired too, I will just eat something, take a rest first. After saying that, he stepped into his bedroom. In the bedroom, Sumo sat cross-legged on the bed. System, help me block it. He has to improve himself next. In order to protect Shangguan Feiyan, Mr. Bo is still guarding upstairs. A high-star diamond awakener, if he is not on guard, can sense something unusual even subconsciously. It's better to be careful. As he finished speaking, the system immediately activated the shield, and an invisible barrier immediately enveloped Sumo. Sumo then clicked on the character template. Host. Sumo. Open black lens bracket cultivation close black lens bracket. Silver realm 5-star. Superpower, shock force S+, conquerors haki S. Martial arts, heavy sword 9 strike, intermediate lower grade. Minor success, dragon step, low upper grade. Minor success, heavenly gang demon fist, intermediate upper grade. Entry level. Open black lens bracket energy points close black lens bracket. 178560. Character template Edward Newgate. Click on the template list to learn more about the character and unlock level. Looking at the energy point, Sumo's face was full of smiles. A full 170,000. This is definitely the most I have ever had. Moreover, if most of the monsters killed this time were not first-level monsters, I am afraid we could have obtained more. The battlefield in the south. I'm definitely going there. Just a faint attack by a wave of monsters can earn him 170,000 energy points. What would be the harvest in the battlefield of the southern fortress where there are at least third-level monsters? Advertisement. Although it is very dangerous and there is even a possibility of death. But wealth and honor are achieved through risk, so it is impossible for him to just sit back and watch. After all, this kind of opportunity might be a disaster for others, but for Sumo, as long as it is not a situation where there is no chance of survival. It is a paradise for earning energy points. And if you miss this opportunity, you don't know when the next one will be. So, he must go. Thinking about it, Sumo clicked on Whitebeard's character template. If you want to go to that battlefield, you just need to have the strength of the Golden Realm. For him who is already able to fight against 1 or 2 enemies, if he improves himself a little, he should be qualified. The power of shock unlocked level 17.1%. Conquerors Haki unlocked 8.2%. Armament Haki basic unlocked 40%. Observation Haki basic unlocked 20.9%. Physical skills unlocked level 16.1%. Sword skills unlocked level 21.3%. After a day and night of fighting, the abilities used have actually improved significantly. The power of the shock increased by 0.1. The observation Haki has increased from 20.1 to 20.9, an increase of 0.8, which is almost enough. The physical skills increased from 15.2 to 16.1, which is also about the same. As for swordsmanship, the increase was the largest, from 20.3 to 21.3, which is exactly 1 point higher. Looking at the changes on the panel and feeling the increased strength and psychic energy, Sumo was very satisfied. Although it is not as fast as unlocking energy points, it is already very good. As long as I can continue to get stronger, it is a good thing. Next, he began to think seriously. If you want to go to the battlefield, you must expose your strength. The shock power that he has exposed to the outside world is definitely unusable, so he will not upgrade it for the time being. And this time, he planned to hide his identity and sneak into the battlefield. With disaster ahead, the military now wishes for more manpower. So naturally, they won't check for any awakening certificates, and it should be safe to sneak into the battlefield with a mask or something. Let's upgrade our armament color first. These monsters are at least level 3. This is no joke. Once we are besieged, this defense must be sufficient. Thinking about it, Sumo immediately spent 60,000 energy points to exchange for 60% of the armament color unlocking progress. Adding the original 40.2%, it directly unlocks the promotion to intermediate armament color. Immediately afterwards, he spent another 28,000 to exchange for 14% of the physical skills progress, reaching 30.1%. The armed color combination technique can definitely fully unleash the close combat power. As for the observation haki, it also cost 30,000 and exchanged for 30% of the progress. Conquerors is more expensive, but now I have money, I can be willful and exchange 2%, which costs 16,000. Advertisement. So far, Sumo has spent 134,000 energy points. Biggest purchase ever. He couldn't help but feel his little heart pounding. The power of shock unlocked level 17.1%. Conqueror's Haki unlocked 10.2%. Armament Haki intermediate unlocked 0%. Observation Haki basic unlocked 50.9%. Physical skills unlocked level 30.1%. Sword skills unlocked level 21.3%. Ding. Since Host Armament Haki has been unlocked to the intermediate level, the exchange price has increased from 1,000 points to 3,000 points. Ding. Since the host's physical skills have been unlocked to 30% progress, the exchange price has increased from 2,000 points to 4,000 points. Listening to the system voice in his head, Sumo suddenly felt a pain in his balls. He had speculated before whether the price would increase if the abilities were unlocked to a certain extent in the future. After all, as the progress continued, the power gained would become stronger. According to the law of conservation, more energy points would inevitably be required. As expected, the armament color was upgraded to the intermediate level, and then every 1% would require 3,000 points. After physical skills reach 30%, it will take 4,000 points. Then when the most expensive conquerors and the power of shock also reach a certain level, won't it be even higher? Damn. There are 3 major pressures. Ding. Do you want to receive the initiation now? Listening to the system's prompts, Sumo took a deep breath. The feedback this time was definitely not small. Yes. Boom. Several vast forces instantly surged into his body. Conqueror's Haki. Observation right. Armament Haki. Physical training. Physical strength. Psychic power. Soul strength. All of them were being empowered, and Sumo was like a sponge, absorbing these powers without any hindrance. Especially Armament Haki and Taijutsu, after being unlocked to a large stage, they are obviously the 2 most prominent points. Just talking about the armament color, not only the defense and attack power have been improved, but even the application of skills has been continuously instilled. Armament Haki hardening, Armament Haki covering and lingering, Armament Haki externalization, etc. Chapter 58. 9 Armies to Suppress Demons. Time passes by every second. Sumo sat cross-legged quietly on the bed, the power in his body still constantly pouring into him. His spiritual power cultivation was even rising. Silver 6 stars. Silver 7 stars. This feeling of becoming stronger intoxicated Sumo. It was not until half an hour later that these forces gradually subsided and were completely digested. The most intuitive spiritual energy realm, directly reaching the peak of silver 8 stars. Although it doesn't seem as exaggerated as the previous leap from black iron 6 stars to silver 3 stars. But in fact, just this nearly 4-star improvement is definitely dozens of times more powerful than the energy contained that time. Before school started, I was promoted to the peak of silver 8 stars. Sumo sighed, thinking that he should find a suitable time to make a high-profile move. Otherwise, if he keeps hiding it, I'm afraid that once his cultivation level is revealed, he can be announced as graduated, right? Of course, this cannot be rushed. Everything still needs to be done after we have enough strength to protect ourselves. As a steady man, it's okay to be pretentious unintentionally, but if you do it on purpose, forget it. After spending another hour consolidating his strength, Sumo immediately opened his high-tech watch. A large virtual screen popped up immediately. The government's official live broadcast coverage is also in full swing at this time. At the same time, all of humanity is watching this battle nervously. On the live screen, at this time, the last war fortress in the southern part of the Magic City was on the verge of collapse. In that world, all kinds of elemental energies and special powers were bombarding wildly. Advertisement. In the sky, the extraordinary strong men and the humanoid demon generals of the demon side were fighting frantically. The power to destroy the world almost enveloped the entire world. Every extraordinary man opened up his own half-domain at this moment. The endless supernatural power distorted the space, as if it would shatter in the next moment. The humanoid demon generals were even more brutal. They sacrificed their true bodies one after another, and used their bloodline power to evolve into their innate divine power. They all roared and rushed into the semi-realm of the extraordinary human powerhouse, showing no fear at all. And at the next cloud layer. It is the battle between diamond powerhouses, although not as shocking and earth-shattering as those between extraordinary powers. But equally terrifying, the elemental awakener's attack covered several thousand meters in the air with just a wave of his hand. Rays of spiritual energy, sword chi and knife light whizzed out, and wherever they landed on the ground, they created dark ravines thousands of meters long. The bodies of the 4th level monsters, each of which is hundreds of meters long, also stood in the void, resisting these attacks head-on, and fearlessly forcing down the human awakeners. The scene was so thrilling that if one was not careful, one might fall at any time and anywhere. On the Earth, tens of thousands of 3rd level monsters and golden awakeners were also fighting each other, but the human awakeners were being suppressed and beaten on the other side. People were sacrificing every moment, and it was very tragic. Sumo looked at this shocking scene with an extremely heavy expression. Humanity's extraordinary powers and diamond warriors could barely hold off the opponent's 4th and 5th level monsters. However, in terms of the combat power of the Golden Awakeners, they were clearly being unilaterally suppressed by the monsters, and people were dying every moment. In the battle on the previous level, the Diamond Awakeners on the human side wanted to save the situation of their own Gold Awakeners. He would be attacked and killed by the 4th level monsters, and would be unable to help at all. He could only anxiously watch the situation below getting worse and worse. In short, the battle situation was very unfavorable, and the human side was once again forced to retreat back to the war fortress. As a result, the last fortress collapsed and was destroyed on the spot, and the monsters faced the Devil's City. All human beings who were watching the battle were extremely nervous at the moment, and some ordinary mortals were so scared that they almost fainted. Come on, Demon City. Hold on, the 9 demon suppression armies are ready, hold on. Too horrible, too horrible. The once extremely noble Golden Awakener is now like cannon fodder, dying at any moment. Come on, you must hold on. Demon City. Damn it, I also want to go over and help, but seeing my fellow humans being slaughtered is such a painful feeling. Now we can only wait for the support of the 9 demon suppression armies. I am in the Demon City right now. If anything goes wrong, I will also go to the south. Although I am only a black iron, I will never watch the Demon City fall. Don't be impulsive, brother upstairs. In the lower left corner of the official live broadcast room, there is a bar where all human beings can actively speak. Advertisement. At this moment, all of humanity is cheering for the Magic City, and everyone is eager to fly over to protect the Magic City. Of course, they were all passionate young people, and most of them looked pale and frightened. At this moment, the tragic battlefield scene in the video changed and came to the edge of the southern urban area of Modu. Everyone, the last war fortress in the southern part of the Demon City has been breached. Although we suffered heavy losses, in the end, it was us humans who withstood the pressure, because the 4 armies of the 9 demon suppression armies, Fenshin, Xiaolong, Dongyuan, and Ziyao, have already arrived at the Demon City. At this moment, immediately go to the battlefield and completely kill those monsters. Please watch. In the video, a female officer's high-pitched and excited voice was heard, and the camera followed her gaze to the side. I saw that on the wide streets, psychic armored vehicles were rushing quickly towards the southern fortress. In the sky, fighter planes also flew out quickly. The most eye-catching things are the tall and majestic figures standing on the armored vehicles and fighter planes. These figures are like blades filled with murderous aura. Sharp, domineering, and tough. This was the first impression of everyone in the live broadcast room, and they were extremely shocked. The ones wearing armor with flaming golden patterns are from the Burning Sky Army. The Xiaolong Army in silver dragon patterned armor. The Dongyuan Army in armor with green sword patterns. The Ziyao Army in purple black star patterned armor. Everyone, these 4 legions are the strongest legions of our human race. Every soldier in them is an elite among thousands of human beings, the best of the best. Now, let us follow these soldiers and go to the battlefield together. As the female officer finished her words, the camera immediately followed the tanks and fighter planes. Looking at the expressionless and extremely cold figures on the camera, Sumo was filled with emotion and was also shocked. Are these the 9 demon suppressing armies? Their aura and momentum are truly terrifying. He dared to guarantee that every demon suppressing soldier here was outstanding among the same level. Because only such a person can gather such momentum. The 9 demon suppressing armies. In the future, graduates from all the major universities will undergo a challenge selection. I am beginning to look forward to it. Smiling with emotion, Sumo immediately stood up and walked out of his bedroom. The real war has just begun. Chapter 59. Defending our homeland is everyone's responsibility. When everyone came back, it was almost nightfall, so at this moment, it was already dark. Upstairs, Yi Xiaoshui and Shangguan Feiyan were probably too nervous, plus they hadn't slept for a day and a night. It was only a short while before he fell asleep. Sumo quietly walked out of Villa number 10, however, a figure stopped there. Bo Lao looked at Sumo helplessly. Su Xiaoyu, where are you going? Looking at the old butler in front of him, Sumo frowned. He knew that if he left, he would not be able to hide it from the old butler. After all, there is a system shielding when in meditation state, but if you leave the state, a healthy person will be gone. The old butler will definitely sense something unusual. Looking directly at Bo Lao, Sumo said softly, battlefield. Upon hearing this, Mr. Bo shook his head and was about to persuade him, but the next moment, his eyes widened. I saw Sumo on the opposite side, and suddenly a silver realm aura burst out from his body. A pair of eyes like stars were looking at him sharply. Silver realm. Staring blankly at the young man in front of him, Mr. Bo was shocked. If he was not mistaken, Sumo was still a black iron 6-star awakener during that monster wave, right? How come in the blink of an eye, I've already become silver 1-star? Is it a hidden cultivation? Can he hide his power from these powerful diamond masters? How is this possible? For a moment, Mr. Bo couldn't calm down. He felt that the young man in front of him was so mysterious and unpredictable. He took a deep breath and said solemnly, "My dear Sue, with your talent, I cannot let you go to the battlefield. Such a monster, let alone the young lady's instructions. Even if it was his own decision, he would not allow him to go there and die. Promoted to silver level in 1 month. He is a grandmaster in boxing, swordsmanship, and body movements, with extraordinary strength. Such incredible talent is enough to catch up with that legendary being. If nothing unexpected happens, it will definitely be another powerful king, and an ultimate king with extremely terrifying combat power. If Sumo died because of his careless decision, let alone the young lady, she would hate him to death. Advertisement. He will hate himself to death." On the opposite side, Sumo stopped talking nonsense and suddenly rushed out, turning into a shadow and instantly appeared in front of Bo Lao. The terrifying physical strength and psychic power were immediately combined together, and the entry-level Tiangong demon fist was blasted out fiercely. Roar. Along with a low demonic roar, the extremely powerful fist force was completely released. In an instant, the surrounding air was shattered, and then with the force of thunder, it blasted towards Bo Lao's face. As a diamond powerhouse, Bo Lao naturally reacted, and his old palm was like a bolt of lightning above Sumo's fist. Bang. However, after catching the punch steadily, the old butler was stunned again and looked at Sumo in disbelief. "You." Retracting his fist, Sumo said solemnly, "I am not the kind of person who would joke about my own life, don't worry, Mr. Bo." After saying this, he walked around the old butler and left quickly. It was not until his figure disappeared in the villa area that Bo Lao came back to his senses and sighed, "What a peerless evildoer." Soon, Sumo left the school. Dressed in a pitch-black combat uniform and wearing a pitch-black mask, he looked particularly cold and mysterious. He stopped a taxi. "Master, the southern station base." The master's face suddenly changed when he heard this. "Brother, the south is very dangerous now. Protecting our homeland is everyone's responsibility." In his heart, Sumo added, "Earn some energy points by the way." Hearing his words, the driver stood in awe and looked at Sumo with admiration. "Get in the car, no charge." At this time, anyone who dares to go to the south is a hero. He was just an ordinary mortal, and carrying these heroes to the battlefield was the only contribution he could make. After a while, the taxi stopped at the southern exit of the city. "Brother, come on." After giving a cheer, the master drove back to the inner city. Walking into the station, at this moment, some golden awakeners who had returned from other places also arrived at the south station one after another. The government issued the order, and even the golden awakeners who were out received the news. Therefore, even if you are unwilling, as long as you reach the level of gold awakener, you must rush to the battlefield. Following the crowd, Sumo immediately got on an armored vehicle, as he no longer hid his cultivation. Advertisement. So the 10 gold awakeners in the car looked at him in confusion. Silver 8 stars are also going to the battlefield. Isn't this courting death? An older man kindly reminded him, "Are you really going to the southern battlefield?" The tone is rather euphemistic, but the meaning is clear. Protecting our homeland is everyone's responsibility. After saying that, Sumo stopped talking and sat quietly in the armored vehicle. But after he said this, the middle-aged gold awakeners beside him lowered their heads. A little ashamed. Damn it. A silver awakener has such awareness, but they still look reluctant. So shameful. Thinking of this, the gold awakeners raised their heads again, and there was no more resistance in their eyes. But it turned into determination. "Well said." The old man immediately clapped his hands and cheered, "Even if I sacrifice myself this time, I will definitely drive those damned beasts out of the demon city. If old guys like us are afraid of death, who will protect the future of mankind?" Beside the old man, a square-faced middle-aged man couldn't help but sigh, "That's right. When we were at the iron and silver levels, some of our predecessors risked their lives to protect us. That's why we have been able to grow up to this day. We should not forget our roots. Now it's our turn to protect the younger generation." The gold awakeners who had just been resisting were also infected, and immediately said with shame on their faces, "After listening to the words of this silver friend, I am really ashamed. Since when did we become no longer ourselves?" Sigh. "No matter what, even if we die this time, we have to fight to the death with a third-level monster and we must protect the demon city." The remaining few anxious awakeners clenched their fists and started shouting. "My son has always regarded me as a hero. This time, I must truly be a hero, for him and for our family. Don't be afraid." For a moment, the scene on the armored vehicles, which had been lifeless, suddenly changed. They became passionate and their momentum continued to soar. Quote. Looking at everyone, Sumo's mouth under the mask seemed to be hesitant to speak. Suddenly I felt a little guilty. Okay, he told the truth. Su, just said that casually because he didn't want to be talked into anything. Everyone, don't get excited. If you can survive, you should try your best to survive. But in the end, Sumo couldn't bear to destroy this beautiful atmosphere. After all, on the battlefield, high spirits are always more important than low spirits, right? Chapter 60. Taking advantage of the situation behind the 9 demon suppression armies. One after another, armored vehicles quickly rushed out of the southern urban area and followed the pace of the 9 demon suppressing armies. In the car, the old man clicked on the government's official live broadcast room. In the live broadcast room, the first 9 armies to set out were about to arrive at the battlefield. Some generals of the 9 demon suppressing armies even flew into the air and had already intervened in the battle in the sky. Suddenly, with high-end combat power, they started to turn defense into offense, chasing and killing the 4th level monsters one by one, instead of barely competing. Every diamond level general who came from the 9 demon suppressing armies was extremely brutal. His fighting power was astonishing. He could fight one against all the terrifying 4th order monsters alone, and he was not at all inferior. A handsome middle-aged man wearing silver dragon patterned armor was fighting against 3 4th level monsters at the same time. Holding a silver dragon spear, this handsome middle-aged man was glowing with white light, like a white sun. At this moment, as he continued to swing the spear in his hand, the spear beams instantly turned into white light dragons that roared out. Roar. The dragon's roar was deafening. The elemental dragon body that was thousands of meters long was lifelike and immediately entangled 3 4th level monsters. The sharp light contained in the spear immediately strangled the bodies of the 4 monsters, and the latter screamed in pain. At this time, a tall figure wearing blood-patterned gold-rimmed armor came to the side of the handsome middle-aged man. It was Chu Kuang, who had been fighting for a long time. He breathed a sigh of relief at this moment. Feng, you are finally here. The handsome middle-aged man strangled 3 monsters and turned to look at Chu Kuang. If I don't come, will I watch you die? The handsome middle-aged man is one of the generals of the Xiaolong army. His full name is Mu Feng. Like Chu Kuang, he is a commander of great reputation. When he was young, he was a special student of Taikyo University. Respectfully called the Aurora Dragon. Possessing S-level light element, the Aurora is magical. A peak 9-star existence in the Diamond Realm. His fighting power is so strong that he has almost no rivals. Chu Kuang grinned. Of course I know that you don't want me to die. Snort. With a cold snort, Mu Feng immediately turned his head to look at the 3 monsters entangled by his spear-like dragon, and said coldly, "You dare to invade my human territory and kill my compatriots, you deserve to die." Advertisement. As the extremely cold voice fell, a large amount of white light burst out from his body again, like the setting sun in the sky. As he pointed the silver dragon spear in his hand, white light immediately shot towards the 3 monsters. Buzz buzz buzz. The spear beams that filled the sky, transformed from the aurora, directly bombarded the bodies of the 3 monsters, splashing a large amount of blood. Ha ha ha. Kill. Upon seeing this, Chu Kuang immediately rushed towards several 4th level monsters, and his fighting power was equally powerful. In other parts of the sky, there are also such ruthless characters among the Dongyuan army, Ziyao army and Fenshan army. The commander of the Dongyuan army is an old general. Although he is old, he has the power of sword and supernatural powers. He still suppressed and beat several 4th level monsters, and a series of terrifying sword energy whizzed out, chopping the monsters with wounds all over. The one who led the Burning Sky army was a young man, with golden light lingering in his eyes. Even though he only has the cultivation base of Diamond 3, his pair of iron fists surrounded by golden flames were able to burn 2 mid-level 4th order monsters to the point that they screamed and wailed. The sky was filled with golden flames exploding, which was extremely terrifying. And judging from his age, he definitely has unlimited potential. The last one was a female general of the Ziyao army, wearing a purple and black armor with a distinctive star pattern. Although she is almost 30, she is still extremely pretty, cool and beautiful. Die. She held a long sword in her hand and gave a delicate cry. The starlight surrounding her immediately merged into a towering purple sword pillar. Buzz. The sound of the sword resounded throughout the heavens and earth, and it immediately pierced through a powerful demon ape that was considered the king among 4th level monsters. Fear. With the joining of these tough guys from the 9 demon suppressing armies on the battlefield, the human side immediately gained an absolute advantage in the Diamond Realm battlefield and began to chase and kill these monsters. Of course, there are also several kings on the monster side, but as more and more generals joined the 9 demon suppressing armies, they also began to be forced into a desperate situation. Ha ha ha. Awesome. The 9 demon suppressing armies are invincible. It's General Mu, the invincible general of our imperial capital city. He is my senior from the class before me. Great. As long as the demon suppression army arrives at the battlefield, these damn monsters will be wiped out. When one side is in trouble, all sides will come to its aid. This is our 9 demon suppression armies, and this is the spirit of our human race. We will never be defeated. In the live broadcast room, all the people who saw this scene were sending comments excitedly. It's even more exciting than the awakened ones on the battlefield. Advertisement. On the armored vehicle, Sumo looked at the invincible figures with shock in his eyes. Is this the difference between S-level powers and powers of other levels? That terrifying fighting power almost made him doubt whether they were in the same realm. They are truly worthy of being called the 9 demon-suppressing armies, the sharpest blade of mankind. The group watched the live broadcast quietly, and the armored vehicles quickly approached the battlefield. Half an hour later, finally, a series of deafening noises reached Sumo's ears. Although the 10 golden awakeners in the car had been encouraging each other along the way, when they arrived at the battlefield, I couldn't help but start to get nervous, and my breathing started to become heavy. Seeing this, Sumo reminded everyone, there is no need to face the monsters alone, just help the demon suppression army together. After saying that, he jumped off the armored vehicle first, then used all his strength to perform the dragon step, rushing into the battlefield like a black dragon shadow. Armament Haki, harden. Murmuring, Sumo's body under the combat suit immediately turned purple-black. Defense and attack power increased dramatically. In front of him, an elite warrior of the Burning Sky Army was fighting a giant third-level demon bull. The giant demon bull was covered in thunder at this moment, and large lightning snakes were roaring out, forming a thunder field within a few hundred meters. However, the soldier of the Burning Sky Army showed no fear at all. He rushed into the thunder zone with a big knife in hand. Sword shadows whizzed out and slashed out, offsetting a large number of lightning snakes, and finally approached the demon bull with the long sword raised high. Buzz! A huge knife shadow suddenly appeared on his long sword and chopped it fiercely on the bull's body. The demon bull groaned in pain as one of its legs was chopped off. In the end, in less than 10 minutes, this mid-stage third-order demon bull was beaten to the point of being on the verge of death. Just as he was about to be beheaded by the golden 9-star Burning Sky Army soldier with a single blow, a loud shout came from behind him. Brother Bing, you don't have to do anything. I'll do it. You go and support the rest of your comrades first. In midair, Sumo's right fist combined the power of armament color, psychic power, and physical strength. Accompanied by a loud shout, a Tiangong demon fist immediately hit the demon bull's head hard. Boom! The head of the demon bull was blasted into a bloody mist, and the ground within a radius of dozens of meters suddenly cracked. A huge pit 10 meters deep was formed. Ding! The host killed the third stage intermediate stage lightning demon bull and obtained 968 energy points. Chapter 61 Magic Core, Sumo smells business opportunity. Ding! The host killed the third stage intermediate stage lightning demon bull and obtained 968 energy points. The system prompt sounded in his mind, making Sumo feel refreshed. This third-level monster got a lot. And it's a leak, which makes it even more fragrant. Silver 8 stars. The soldier of the Burning Sky Army was not angry because Sumo stole his head. Instead, after seeing Sumo's cultivation level, he frowned slightly on his cold expression. At the same time, I was a little surprised. Sumo's punch just now was not ordinary. The power that erupted was comparable to that of some 3 or 4-star gold awakeners. He was truly a monster. At least, as an elite warrior of the Burning Heaven Army, even though he graduated from one of the 5 major universities, he was one in a million. When he was at the silver 8-star level, he was not as good as the one in front of him. You are not afraid of life or death, and you are willing to come to defend your homeland. It's worthy of encouragement. Be careful. After exclaiming in admiration, the Burning Sky Army soldier charged towards another third-order monster. Sumo immediately followed his pace. This soldier is obviously different from the other soldiers of the Burning Heaven Army. There was an even more conspicuous golden flame on the flaming golden patterned armor he was wearing, and he was obviously a team leader. From the strength just shown, it can be seen that they are obviously more powerful than the other Golden Realm Burning Sky Army. Just hug his legs. Soon, the captain of the Burning Sky Army rushed to a third-order magic python that was about to devour a human Golden Awakener. You beast, you're looking for death. With a loud shout, the old man raised his sword to the sky and slashed the python's vital point. Phew! 100-foot-long sword shadow swept across, and the demon python was cut into 2 parts directly at the 7-inch point, roaring continuously. The 100-meter-long snake body kept struggling and rolling, and the earth was shaking. The native awakener from Demon City who was nearly eaten by the demonic python immediately looked at the team leader with gratitude. Brother Bing, go save the people first, I'll come. Following behind, Sumo shouted passionately and shamelessly came to grab the kill. I saw him use another technique of armament haki with his right hand, armament haki entangled. Black and purple air continued to overflow from the arms, forming a spiral airflow rising to the middle of the air, and the attack power continued to rise. Roar. Advertisement. Influenced by the overflowing armament color, an even more terrifying Tiangong demon fist immediately fell from the sky. The colorless fist force directly turned into black and purple, and then hit the struggling head of the demon python accurately. Boom. Not only the head of the demon python, but also the whole body was shattered by the punch on the spot. A large amount of blood mist burst out, which was extremely shocking. Then they saw a deeper pit, even bigger than the previous one, appearing, with billowing smoke and dust and constant shaking. Ding. The host killed the third stage mid-stage Titan Python and obtained 947 energy points. Ding. This magic python has produced a magic core. The system has helped the host collect it into the storage ring. Sumo put away his fist and jumped to the side, his mouth curled up slightly. Sure enough, there is a magic core. Once a monster reaches the 3rd level, some monsters with strong blood power can condense a magic core. The magic core is the essence of a monster, a fusion of blood power and psychic power. Humans can even use magic cores to practice, although they are not as pure as psychic stones and must be absorbed with caution. But it is also a rare resource. If it is a higher level magic core, such as the magic core of a 4th level or even 5th level magic general, it will have all kinds of magical effects. Nowadays, many gold awakeners will practice with magic cores and psychic stones together, which is also one of the expensive resources. His mind went deep into the storage ring, looking at the fist-sized, gem-like magic core. Sumo asked in his mind, "System, if you absorb the magic core, will you only absorb the spiritual power inside?" The blood power condensed by the monster has become a physical entity. It can be considered as energy and can be absorbed completely. Hearing this, Sumo laughed, really laughed. He smelled a business opportunity. You know, many awakened people are very careful and only absorb psychic power. The remaining magic cores and the blood power contained in them cannot be absorbed by humans at all and will backfire on them. Therefore, most awakened people will sell the magic cores cheaply as decorations, or even throw them away. However, the system can completely absorb all the energy within the magic core and transform it into energy points. If Sumo collects these magic cores in large quantities, then... Ha 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 ha, so cool. Thinking of this, Sumo couldn't help but laugh out loud. Of course, as a calm man, he still held back. Now it's more important to pick up, protect the homeland. The captain of the Burning Sky Army looked deeply at Sumo at this moment. It wasn't because the latter stole his head again, but because of the fighting power that this Silver 8-star guy had unleashed. Advertisement. It's even more perverted than before. Damn, is this really the cultivation level of Silver 8 stars? Those S-level supernatural monster warriors in their Burning Heaven army are not as exaggerated as this guy, right? At this time, the team leader has confirmed that the masked guy in front of him is definitely the owner of S-level supernatural powers. And looking at the pair of deep and clear eyes behind the black mask, he is definitely a young man. Could it be a student? With such talent, he might be a sophomore or junior at Shanghai University. Probably because he wanted to gain experience. Thinking secretly, the captain of the Burning Sky Army has already developed a protective heart towards Sumo. Once such a monster grows up, he will definitely become as powerful and invincible as their young general of the Burning Sky Army. It can't die young. He dodged and immediately came to Sumo. Little brother, you must follow me closely later. We will cooperate with each other. I will attack and you will assist from the side. It's good to want to gain experience, but you must do it within your ability. Do you understand? Soon, the old man called over several soldiers of the Burning Sky Army and formed a small team. Hiddenly protecting Sumo in the middle. Quote. Wow, Sumo was a little flattered. I originally wanted to take advantage of the situation, but now I am protected by the legendary 9 demon suppressing armies, and I can even take advantage of the situation openly. It smells so good. The fighting continued, and Sumo felt so comfortable following this Burning Sky Army team. After the soldiers of the Burning Heaven Army beat the monster to death in 2 or 3 blows, he immediately volunteered to kill it. Ding! The host killed the initial stage 3 Black Spirit Fox and obtained 720 energy points. Unfortunately, magic cores are not so easy to obtain. Half an hour passed. Sumo followed behind the soldiers and killed at least 4 or 5 third-level monsters. Finally, I got another magic core from a mid-level 3rd stage magic bear. At this time, all the soldiers of the Burning Sky Army completely regarded Sumo as one of them and were attracted by the latter's clean and decisive methods. He was also impressed by his extreme pervert talent, and even his cooperation was as if he was originally a member of the Burning Sky Army. Wherever the 5 people passed, the monsters were killed on the spot. It was as efficient as could be. Chapter 62. Meet the brother-in-law and rob him. After Sumo's surprise attack, a group of Burning Sky Army soldiers killed a 3rd stage late-stage monster with a thunderous force. Several veteran soldiers of the Burning Sky Army in the team couldn't help but speak up. Sure, little brother, I saw your sudden attack just now. You don't look like an experienced student at all. That's right, I might not be able to match your reaction and awareness just now. You are young and promising. With your talent, you are already on par with General Mew, and even. There's nothing bad to say about us soldiers. I can guarantee that if this little brother grows up and joins the 9 demon suppression armies, he will definitely be stronger than General Mew. By the way, little brother, do you want to join our Burning Sky Army? Facing the praise and invitation from the Burning Heaven Army, Sumo smiled and said, the strongest blade to defend the country is the dream of every young person. I will definitely join the 9 demon suppression armies in the future, but not now. The captain of the Burning Heaven Army was named Zhou Hua. Hearing this, he smiled and nodded. That's right. Studies are more important now. I won't ask you which university you are from, but when you graduate in the future, you must consider our Burning Heaven Army. The 9 demon suppression armies will definitely fight for a monster like Sumo in the future. After all, If one could obtain such a monstrous being, once he grew up, he would definitely be an invincible general. And with such an existence, the 9 demon-suppressing armies will surely achieve higher and higher achievements, and their rankings will become higher and higher. That's right. Although the 9 demon-suppressing armies exist to protect the country, they are also in competition with each other. Now, the strongest god-killing legion is ranked first, no matter in terms of merit, battle record or combat power. They all come first. He went on expeditions abroad all year round, was invincible and brave, and won back piece after piece of territory for the country. It can be said that there is not a single weakling in the god-killing legion, and all of them have at least A-level superpowers. Therefore, the other 8 legions always want to surpass the god-killing legion. This is their goal as soldiers. But if you want to surpass the god-killing legion, you need talents. Sumo is such a talent, a super rare talent, the kind that even the god-killing legion wants to fight for. Now that Jowa can get in touch with such talents at the first time, he naturally wants to fight for the future of the Burning Sky Army. Although Sumo may not necessarily join their Burning Heaven Army in the future, he should at least leave a good impression on him, right? Moreover, their Burning Sky Army is not bad either, ranking in the top 5, and are equally brave and invincible. Looking at Jowa, Sumo nodded and said, "Brother Joe, I will consider it." The first 9 demon-suppressing armies he came into contact with were the big brothers of the Burning Sky Army, and he had a pretty good impression of this legion. It is definitely worth considering in the future. Advertisement. Jowa and others were delighted to get Sumo's answer. The more they looked at Sumo, the more they liked him. They surrounded him as if they were afraid that their future, Admiral Army, would get hurt. That's all. The group of 6 continued to fight madly and efficiently. At this time in the official live broadcast room, with the intervention of the 9 demon-suppressing armies, the female officer was shouting passionately. "Everyone, this is our 9 demon-suppression armies. The most powerful blade of our human race." The words fell. The comments in the live broadcast room also became a lot more relaxed and cheerful at this moment. At this time, the camera swept across the battlefields and suddenly landed on a squad of the Burning Sky Army. It was Sumo and the other 6. On the screen, wherever the 6 people, led by Jowa, went, no third-level monster could withstand their edge. Sumo's figure, which was very different from the 5 Burning Sky Army soldiers, was mixed in and extremely conspicuous. That terrifying fighting power and coordination were perfectly integrated into several squads of Burning Sky Army warriors, and they were even surrounded by them. This scene shocked everyone in the live broadcast room. FK. This guy is so awesome. He can actually be integrated into the 9 demon suppression armies. On the battlefield, many big names of the Gold Awakeners were defeated and had to be rescued, but this one is doing great. He has become the main force of this demon-suppressing 9-army team. Awesome. He should also be a very strong Gold Awakener. Damn, this guy's physical strength is so strong. What kind of superpower is that black and purple airflow wrapped around his body? Looking at his destructive power, this punch and kick can split mountains and cut rivers, right? It should be an enhanced Awakener. Because it was a live broadcast, everyone could only see Sumo's exaggerated destructive power but had no idea of his cultivation level. It is normal to be considered a Gold Awakener, and even some Diamond Realm bosses who are watching the live broadcast think so. However, if they knew, I wonder what he would think if this big man who can split mountains and cut rivers was actually just a silver-level Awakener who was not allowed to participate in the war. I'm afraid my 3 views have collapsed. Advertisement. On the battlefield. Ding. The host killed the 3rd stage initial stage Flame Demon Monkey and obtained 752 energy points. Shaking his head, Sumo looked helpless. The probability of producing this magic core was indeed small. It took about 10 kills of level 3 monsters to obtain 3. A 3 in 10 chance. As he was thinking secretly, suddenly, a battlefield in front of him caught his attention. In front of them, a team of awakened ones were fighting a monster that was obviously more majestic and huge than the other 3rd-level monsters. It is obviously a boss at the peak of the late 3rd stage. And Sumo knew the awakened team. It was the team led by Shangguan Xinghong, his brother-in-law. At this time, Shangguan Xinghong was wrapped in a pitch-black magic armor, holding 2 ferocious long swords emitting black light in his hands. Buzz buzz buzz. I saw his golden 8-star aura surging wildly, and balls of black light kept emerging from his magic armor, looking ferocious and terrifying. It almost filled the area of several hundred meters nearby. And in the next moment, they transformed into magic swords identical to the ones in his hand, but they were countless times larger, and the sound of the swords was buzzing. Soon, accompanied by Shangguan Xinghong's long laugh, each of these extremely terrifying sky-piercing demonic blades shot towards the 3rd-level boss monster. Every time they passed by, a large amount of blood was drawn, and the demonic energy on the wound was devouring the monster. Sumo immediately looked at Jowa. "Brother Joe, let's go over and help." After saying that, he rushed towards the battlefield where Shangguan Xinghong and others were. Jowa was stunned and a little confused. The pair of young awakeners in front of them looked very powerful, especially the young man in magic armor who was leading them. He is even stronger than him. Together with his teammates who are not weak either, he should be able to kill the monster. Maybe, maybe we don't need their help. But seeing that Sumo had already rushed over, Jowa could only lead the team to follow. After all, the person in front of them might be their future Admiral Army. Rushing on the road, Sumo's eyes were filled with the third-level boss monster. That's right. Of course, he was not worried about the safety of his brother-in-law, but was trying to grab the head. Just kidding, a level 3 monster boss will definitely drop some good stuff, so I must rob him. Chapter 63. Demonic Blade, Evil Moon. In front, the third-level monster boss that Shangguan Xinghong and others were facing was a crocodile monster. It is also the strongest sky-armored demon crocodile among crocodiles. Its majestic body is 100 meters high, and from head to tail, it is 100 feet long. It's like a small island, stretching across the earth. Its body was covered with blue-black scales-like armor, and it was currently fighting against Shangguan Xinghong's magic swords. Although he had suffered many scratches, none of them were fatal. He still killed Shangguan Xinghong and the others with extreme ferocity. Bang, bang, bang. With each of its trampling, the ground began to crack, as if there was a magnitude 100 earthquake. From his mouth, he instantly spewed out terrifying huge water bombs, offsetting the black magic blades. Kill you. In front of him, Shangguan Xinghong grinned slightly, and the two ferocious magic swords in his hands continued to extend with the stimulation of spiritual energy. It turned into two long swords, each 50 meters long, and then one person fought with the sky-armored demon crocodile. Ding ding ding. The clanging sound resounded, and although Shangguan Xinghong seemed so small, the knife in his hand was sweeping and slashing. As they continued to collide and fight with the powerful forelimbs of the demon crocodile, the ground cracked and spread under the feet of the man and the demon. After a while, Shangguan Xinghong and the sky-high magic blades in the sky directly killed the demon crocodile and drove it back. Even after a terrifying supernatural martial arts skill, the relatively soft forelimbs of the demon crocodile were cut off on the spot, and blood flowed like a river. Brother, I'm here to help you. It was at this moment that Sumo finally intervened on the battlefield. He seized the opportunity and, while the sky-armored demon crocodile was in pain from its broken limb, released the armament Haki with his right fist with all his strength. Roar. As the black and purple airflow continued to overflow, a Tiangong demon fist accompanied by a demonic roar fell from the sky. He aimed at the big head of the demon crocodile and hit it hard. Bang. The violent fist force surged out in an instant and penetrated into the demon crocodile's head. The entire crocodile's body could not withstand this huge force and was imprinted into the ground on the spot. The already dilapidated ground collapsed directly within a radius of 100 meters, forcing Shangguan Xinghong to jump away quickly. At this time, Shangguan Xinghong's face under the magic armor was very dark. What is going on? What does this guy who suddenly appeared want to do? Damn. Scared lousy. Shangguan Xinghong flashed to Sumo's side and said with an unhappy look, Brother, there are a lot of monsters around, you. Advertisement. Sumo didn't even turn his head, his tone was extremely passionate, and he said perfunctorily, when one side is in trouble, all sides will come to help. I saw that this monster is quite fierce, and I was afraid that you couldn't handle it, so I came to help. The tone can be as perfunctory as possible. After saying that, he jumped into the deep pit and continued to kill the demon crocodile, trying to kill it while it was sick. The reward from the third-level boss seemed to be waving to him, Su. Quote. On the spot, Shangguan Xinghong's mouth twitched. They can't handle it. Grass. Lousy just cut off one of its front limbs. If you didn't come, you could have cut it off immediately. He thought angrily, but then his pupils shrank. Sensing the aura of Sumo, a look of horror gradually appeared on his face. This guy. Silver 8 stars. I didn't notice it just now, but now I'm sensing it carefully. This guy who suddenly jumped out is actually a silver 8 star. That punch was thrown by this guy. For a moment, Shangguan Xinghong couldn't calm down. Silver 8 stars, blasting out the strength of a high-level gold star. Could I have done it in the past? You may be able to do it if you try your best, but you will definitely be powerless afterwards. But this guy in front of me can actually jump into the deep pit to fight the demon crocodile, which means, he still has some strength left. For the first time, Shangguan Xinghong's self-confidence was shaken. Even the guy who ranked first on the list in the academy didn't give him such pressure. Shocked in his heart, Shangguan Xinghong also jumped into the deep pit and caught up with Sumo. At this time, Zhou Hua and others also rushed to the scene. Together with Shangguan Xinghong and other team members, they came to the side of the deep pit and looked down. The beautiful woman in the Shangguan team looked at Zhou Hua at this time. Sir, who is that guy? They were also shocked when someone suddenly intervened in the battlefield and caused such a commotion, and it was a silver awakener. Zhou Hua was stunned, and said shamelessly, my brother. Several veteran soldiers of the Burning Sky Army standing nearby blushed immediately. Brother I just met, Captain, you are so shameless. Go down and help. Soon, Zhou Hua also jumped into the deep pit, and a huge sword shadow emerged, joining the battlefield between Sumo and others. Advertisement. The demon crocodile was now in a narrow pit, its huge body unable to move at all, and its front limbs were cut off. He could only be slaughtered by Sumo and Shangguan Xinghong, and with Zhou Hua's intervention, his injuries became even worse. Die. Finally, with Sumo's quick eyes and hands, a move that had been brewing for a long time was made. The even more violent Tiangong demon fist directly blew up the head of the demon crocodile, shocking Zhou Hua and Shangguan Qinghong again. This guy still retains his strength. Ding. The host killed the peak boss of the third stage, Sky Armor Demon Crocodile, and obtained 1598 energy points, plus a special reward, a mid-level upper-grade demon knife, Xiaoyu. At the same time, a significantly larger magic core was stored in the storage ring by the system. Listening to the system's prompts, Sumo stood on the corpse of the demon crocodile. It felt so good. With a thought, he quickly looked at the magic knife Xiaoyu in the storage ring. In the storage ring, there was a pitch-black Guando sword over 2 meters long with an ancient blood moon pattern floating there quietly. Demonic Blade Xiaoyu, a Guando-type broadsword, a precious sword among the upper mid-grade ones, comparable to a high-grade divine weapon with lower-grade attributes. Features. Can devour the flesh and blood of enemies, even one's own blood, to continuously enhance the sharpness of Xiaoyu. The more flesh and blood, the sharper the sharpness. Nice knife. Sumo's eyes sparkled with excitement, he finally had a weapon that he could use. The low-level alloy Guandao he currently had was no longer useful as his physical strength grew stronger. Originally, he wanted to buy at least a mid-level sword after this wave of monsters was over. It's okay now. Directly produced by the system, you don't have to buy those rubbish knives, and it's a knife that already has attributes. Cool. Fortunately, he robbed his brother-in-law of the monster, otherwise, he would have lost a precious sword. Sumo was in an extremely happy mood, and looked at Shangguan Qinghong with full of affection. Brother Zhou, we have provided adequate assistance. Let's go and continue to defend our homeland. Finally, he nodded to Shangguan Qinghong, then Sumo called Zhou Hua, jumped onto the deep pit, and continued to kill monsters. Good. My little brother is truly a good soldier of the people. Ha ha ha. Laughing loudly, Zhou Hua immediately followed Sumo's pace. At this moment, he was really impressed by Sumo. With such strength, he is definitely qualified to be king. Behind him, Shangguan Qinghong also jumped onto the deep pit. Looking at the figure going away with the burning sky army, he felt uneasy. After a while, he looked at the beautiful woman beside him. Xing, do you think that guy looks familiar? Hearing you put it like that, it's true. Are you an acquaintance? Among the people I know, there shouldn't be such a ruthless person. Sigh. My self-confidence has been shattered. I feel bad. Chapter 64. Cunning, huh. At this time, in the center of Demon City, in an exquisite meeting hall of a high-rise building. On an octagonal conference table, an old man with white hair and beard was sitting on a chair with an imposing manner. Around him, on the 7 chairs, blurry virtual figures were being reflected. Every virtual figure, even if the face cannot be seen clearly, reveals majesty with just the slightest movement. In the center of the conference table, there stood a 3-dimensional screen, broadcasting all the battle situations on the battlefield. The white-bearded old man looked at the screen at this moment and breathed a sigh of relief imperceptibly. What do you think of my next decision? As the old man finished speaking. The slender virtual figure on the far left spoke first. I agree with Elder Long's decision. The price we paid this time is too much. We must fight for more. Another hunched virtual figure shook his head and said, it's too risky. We don't know what else is in the dangerous places around the Demon City. The monsters, strategy this time must sound a warning bell. We must not be too impulsive. Saving the Demon City is already the best outcome. Hearing this, the white-bearded old man frowned, said nothing, and looked at the remaining 4 virtual figures. Among the 4 virtual figures, a figure with a curvy figure pondered for a moment and said, now that things have come to this, I support Elder Long's opinion, but we must also be cautious. Leave a demon-suppressing army to guard the Demon City to prevent sudden changes, and lead the other 3 armies into the dangerous area. While the group of monsters have no reaction, we can counterattack and clean them up, and strive for peace in the Demon City for the next few years. I also agree with Elder Long's decision. The monsters' actions this time are a little strange. We need to investigate, especially their ability to block detection. Finally, everyone looked at the remaining figure sitting in a domineering posture. The domineering figure looked at the white-bearded old man and said, Long, if there is an accident this time, are you willing to take full responsibility? The white-bearded old man nodded heavily. Seeing this, the domineering figure nodded and continued, the blood-killing army must suppress the treasure land they found as soon as possible, so that we can make up for the losses this time. The training plan must also be upgraded. We don't have time to wait any longer. The extent of the danger in those places, you all know it. After the freshman competitions of various universities are over, we must immediately execute it. After these words were spoken, everyone, including the white-bearded old man, nodded solemnly. On the battlefield, with the full involvement of the 9 demon-suppressing armies, the battle situation gradually improved. Whether it is the extraordinary battle in the Sky Universe or the Diamond Realm battlefield under the clouds, including the Golden Battlefield on the Earth, they began to crush in all directions. Advertisement. After all, this is the strongest legion in the entire human race. 4 of them were teleported here at once. The dangerous areas around the Demon City were merely the monsters' frontline fortresses. It is simply impossible to defeat the combined forces of the 4 legions. Sumo followed behind Jowa and the other 4. Every time they killed a monster, the brothers would give most of the opportunities to him. Therefore, his harvest speed was even faster than during that monster tide. Coupled with the acquisition of magic cores, after this time, I will definitely be able to surpass it. Ding. The host killed the initial stage 3 bloodthirsty spirit horse and obtained 775 energy points. Soon, after killing a 3rd level monster, under the coverage of Sumo's observation Haki, he actually discovered another late stage 3rd order boss, a wild wind wolf king. The wolf king was very cunning at this moment. He moved as fast as lightning, with a whistling wind around him, and avoided all the 9 demon suppressing armies. They actually specifically look for those lone and weak golden awakeners to devour. Not long after that, it charged into a team of gold awakeners, and a gold 4-star awakener was unable to react in time. It directly became its food. Moreover, Sumo knew this unlucky guy, including the awakened team. They were the 10 awakeners who came to the battlefield with Sumo. However, 2 of the 3 middle-aged awakeners who were inspired by him were instantly killed by the Wind Wolf King. Brother Joe, let's go. When Sumo and the others saw this scene, they immediately showed murderous intent on their faces. This 3rd-level demon wolf is too cunning. What will happen if we let it continue like this? Without saying a word, under the leadership of Jowa, 6 people rushed towards the Wind Demon Wolf. In the surroundings, many soldiers of the 9 demon suppressing armies also noticed this scene and rushed over. You beast, you're looking for death. Just as the demon wolf was about to continue devouring another awakened person, Johua's terrifying 100-foot-long sword shadow had already slashed down towards it. However, this king demon wolf is indeed a monster that excels in the power of wind element bloodline. A strong wind was whistling around it, and the next moment, its figure was like a gust of wind, easily dodging the slash. Tear it up. Advertisement. The knife missed its target and tore the ground apart, forming a gully hundreds of meters long. The force was powerful, but it missed. A trace of human disdain suddenly appeared on the face of the demon wolf. As if mocking Jowa, it opened its huge wolf mouth and continued to swallow the golden awakener. The faces of the 9 demon suppressing armies that were approaching from all sides changed drastically. If they wanted to kill this demon wolf, it would actually be very easy. As long as we attack together, all the attacks will be released, but the team of golden awakeners is right there. It will definitely affect them. Perhaps this demon wolf was aware of this, which is why it devoured some lone awakened ones so unscrupulously. Buzz. At this moment, an invisible wave covered the demon wolf. Conqueror's Haki. At this moment, Sumo's energy was highly concentrated. In order not to affect the others, he almost gritted his teeth and urged conquerors. At the critical moment, he finally managed to condense this precise kingly spirit with great difficulty. I saw that the wind wolf was covered by conquerors and bit the awakened one's body and it was visibly stiff. Panic and confusion were revealed in the wolf's eyes, and a strong wind was howling around it as it tried to struggle to break free from the conqueror's restraints. Sumo gritted his teeth and insisted on maintaining conquerors, shouting, "Brother Joe, hurry. It can't move, 3 seconds, hurry." Of all the abilities, his conquerors is arguably the least unlocked. At this moment, it was already very difficult for him to subdue the Wind Wolf King whose realm was so much higher than his. 5 seconds at most, and he will break free. But 5 seconds is enough for the 9 armies to suppress demons. After hearing Sumo's roar and looking at the trembling Wind Wolf King, Jowa was shocked by Sumo's methods. But he no longer hesitated, and with the spiritual energy of his whole body mobilizing, the sword shadow rose up again. The rest of the 9 armies that had rushed over to suppress demons also unleashed their might, targeting the wild Wind Wolf King. For a moment, the eyes of this cunning Wolf King were filled with fear. In the distance, Sumo's eyes flashed with excitement. Another baby. Chapter 65. A Great Harvest, considering the next template. And in the moment when the Wind Wolf King was immobilized, the awakened one with a face full of despair also reacted. Including the remaining 7 golden awakeners, they all looked as if they had survived a calamity and hurriedly dodged to the side. The attack of the 9 demon suppressing armies also came at this time. The monstrous sword shadow, elemental attack, throwing giant weapons. All kinds of violent attacks bombarded the huge body of the Wind Wolf King. Boom boom boom. There were roars and billowing smoke. A woo. In the smoke and dust, a mournful howl was heard from the Wind Wolf King, and blood was oozing from many parts of the wolf's body, leaving a bloody mess. Johua's mighty sword shadow directly slashed into its body, almost cutting it in half. Sumo no longer hesitated and rushed forward. If he didn't go up, he would be killed by the next wave of attacks from the rest of the demon suppression army. From a distance, he jumped up and locked onto the head of the Wind Wolf King with incredible precision using his observation Haki. His body was gathering strength like a giant crossbow, violent fist power was condensed, and the black and purple armed color continued to rotate and spread. The next moment, bang, the armed color is released. From a distance of 100 meters, the extremely violent fist force, accompanied by the external armed color, hit the head of the Wind Wolf King fiercely. The 100-meter wolf body that was struggling to get up was pressed to the ground again, and the earth trembled. And this was just Sumo's first wave of attack. His body took advantage of the downward momentum and shot straight down. When it was approaching the head of the Wind Wolf King, its body flipped over and its right leg was wrapped in black and purple armor. Die. A kick-axe carrying the force of thunder and lightning immediately and ferociously pressed down on the wolf's head. Click, bang, rumble. First there was the sound of a skull breaking, and then there was an earth-shaking movement. The head of the Wind Wolf King was actually kicked to pieces by Sumo. Ding. The host killed the third stage peak boss, the Wind Wolf King, and obtained 1,618 energy points, plus a special reward of intermediate level upper grade body skills, and a part of the wind body. Body skills. Not bad. Sumo was delighted. His dragon steps are already very close to perfection. If combined with this more advanced body movement martial art, there will definitely be more variations. Advertisement. The wind helps the swimming dragon, the majesty of the swimming dragon's steps, and the invisible and formless body of the wind complement each other and make it invincible. Brother, your kick is really powerful. At this time, Jowa flashed to the side of Sumo, looking at the miserable state of the Wind Wolf King under his feet, and clicked his tongue. He had no doubt that if this kick hit him, he would not be much better than the Wind Wolf King. Below, the remaining 8 awakeners also looked at Sumo on the Wolf King at this time, wanting to thank him. But when they saw Sumo's outfit, they were all stunned. It's him. Among the 8 people, the old man who first persuaded Sumo on the armored vehicle was now completely stunned. Originally they wanted to bring Sumo into the 10-man team, but the latter disappeared after getting off the car. They are still worried about this. Result, he and others were rescued by this person, and he is a big shot who pretends to be a pig but is actually a tiger. Damn, it turned out that the clown was actually themselves. The 8 people stared at Sumo in a daze. Noticing the gazes from below, Sumo nodded at these unlucky guys and continued to follow Jo Yuan. System, help me enter the wind body. Ding, 10,000 energy points are required. Do you want to continue? Yes. As soon as he finished speaking, the introductory techniques about the wind body immediately merged into Sumo's mind. As he was running, he felt that the wind around him seemed to become more friendly, as if his body was melting into the wind. My body became extremely light, and every movement was no longer hindered by the wind. The trajectory of the wind has become his instinct. At this moment, Sumo's figure became extremely graceful, and the frequency of his feet crossing was obviously very small. But the speed is even faster than before. Jowa on the side naturally noticed his change, but at this moment, the team leader had obviously become accustomed to it. Or rather, it's numb. I was shocked by Sumo's endless means and strength. Hateful. I really hope this brat will join our Burning Heaven army now. Thinking secretly, Jowa immediately continued to lead the team to kill the remaining third-level monsters. Wherever the blade passed, it was invincible. Time passes quietly. With the brave fighting of the 9 demon-suppressing armies, after 3 days and 3 nights, the invading high-level monsters finally could not hold on. Advertisement. Humans, we monsters are endless. It won't be long before they come back to kill us again. Can you afford it? Ha ha ha. At this moment, a crazy and magnificent voice spread across the sky. As these ferocious and unruly words fell, the 4th-level monsters and 5th-level demon generals above the sky turned around and ran away. As for the 3rd-level monsters below, they had almost been slaughtered. As the 4th-level monsters and demon generals went away, the group of 3rd-level monsters were instantly killed by the angry human warriors who had freed up their hands. After a while, there was not a single one left. Sumo felt so painful seeing this. Damn, although he had reaped a lot in these 3 days and 3 nights, the remaining things were still meat. Fen Tian Army, Ziyao Army, Xiaolong Army, listen to my orders. Go into the dangerous place, and leave no trace behind. The Dongyuan Army stays here to guard the demon city. Kill. Not long after the monsters had gone away, a majestic voice was heard again from the sky, carrying with it a murderous aura. This time, it was sent by a human being. One after another, combat aircraft flew directly to the battlefield, and the 3 armies immediately boarded the aircraft. After 3 days and 3 nights of fighting, they did not show any signs of fatigue. Instead, they were full of murderous aura and were dozens of times stronger than when they came. Jowa glanced at Sumo reluctantly. Brother, I'm leaving now. Remember to consider our Burning Heaven army when you graduate. I really like you. Several veteran soldiers who had fought together for 3 days and 3 nights patted Sumo on the shoulder and then jumped onto the fighter plane. At the original spot, Sumo watched the 3 legions go away with envy in his eyes. In fact, he had not yet had enough killing. I wish I could rush into the dangerous place together. But there's nothing I can do since my superiors don't allow it. After this opportunity, I don't know when I will be able to harvest energy points so easily again. Separating his thoughts, Sumo immediately opened the system interface. Host. Sumo. Open black lens bracket cultivation close black lens bracket. Silver realm 8-star peak. Superpower, shock force S+, conqueror's haki S. Martial arts, heavy sword 9 strike, intermediate lower grade. Minor success, dragon step, low upper grade. Major success, heavenly gang demon fist, intermediate upper grade. Entry level, wind body, intermediate upper grade. Entry level. Open black lens bracket energy points close black lens bracket. 456123. Character template Edward Newgate. Click on the template list to learn more about the character and unlock level. The dragon step has been mastered. But compared with the energy point with a long last digit, the attraction is obviously not enough. Looking at the energy points of more than 400,000, Sumo felt a little proud at this moment. System, with my current energy points, can you consider a second character template? Chapter 66 The dust has settled, paying tribute to the heroes. Ding. The host is not yet qualified to draw the second character template. It was like a plate of cold water, instantly cooling Sumo's elated heart. The handsome face beneath his mask was speechless. It's already over 400,000, and you can't consider the second strongest character template. The corner of his mouth curled up. What conditions are required? Ding. The conditions for extracting the second character template require two. First, Edward Newgate character template requirements. The power of shock needs to be unlocked to 40%. Conqueror's Haki unlocked to 40%. Armament Haki unlocked to intermediate level 20%. Observation Haki unlocked to intermediate level 20%. Physical skills unlocked to 40%. Sword skills unlocked to 40%. Second, 1 million energy points are required. If both conditions are met, you can draw the second strongest character template. Quote. Sumo's face at this moment was as black as the bottom of a pot, even darker than his mask. This is so. Let's do some. Unhappily clicking on Whitebeard's character template and unlock exchange ratio, Sumo's face darkened as he calculated secretly. Current unlock progress of Whitebeard. The power of shock unlocked level 17.1%. Conqueror's Haki unlocked 10.2%. Armament Haki intermediate, unlocking level 0.2%. Observation Haki basic, unlocked 50.4%. Physical skills unlocked level 30.4%. Sword skills unlocked level 21.3%. Whitebeard character template unlock progress exchange list. Shockwave force unlocking 1% requires 10,000 energy points. Conqueror's Haki 8,000 energy points required to unlock 1%. Primary armament Haki unlocking 1% requires 1,000 energy points. Intermediate armament Haki unlocking 1% requires 3,000 energy points. Primary observation Haki 1,000 energy points required to unlock 1%. Advertisement. Physical skills unlocking 1% requires 2,000 energy points, and unlocking 1% after 30% requires 4,000 energy points. Sword skills unlocking 1% requires 2,000 energy points. His shock force is currently at 17.1%. To reach 40%, not to mention that the exchange price will increase when it reaches a higher stage like intermediate armament color and physical skills, to reach 30% first, it will require 130,000 energy points. Conqueror's is now 10.2%. If it is exchanged for 20%, it will be 160,000 energy points. Intermediate armament color 20%, 1% requires 3,000 points, which requires 60,000. To upgrade from the primary level of observation Haki, 50% is needed to advance to the intermediate level, 1% requires 50,000, and then the price to reach the advanced stage is another 20%, which also requires 60,000. The current level of physical skills is 30.4%, and it will rise to 40%. After the price increase, it will be 40,000. The swordsmanship is 21.3%, and Yesen reaches 30%, which is 18,000. The total amount is 518,000. Moreover, among these, the shock force, conquerors, and swordsmanship only account for 30% before the big stage. If it reaches the level of the big stage later and is increased to 40%, it will surely be a huge expense. Add to that the 1 million in withdrawal fees, it might be over 2 million. Sumo suddenly felt that his more than 400,000 yuan was nothing. Damn, if I had known, I wouldn't have asked. It hurts your feelings. Host, what you exchanged are the templates of the strongest people in the plane, and the power you obtained is also the strongest. This amount of energy is actually nothing. After you unlock more character templates, you will find that everything is so worth it. The system rarely comforted Sumo. Sumo's face darkened, and he said unhappily, "That's the truth, but I'm poor." Shaking his head, he decided not to ask about the template issue anymore. Not until he had saved up 1 million energy points would he ask. Recovering his mind, Sumo looked at the battlefield again. It was a mess, with mountains of corpses and seas of blood, and the ground was bumpy. Although we won, it was a Pyrrhic victory. In those few short hours before the 9 demon-suppressing armies arrived, the losses were too great. At this time, some golden awakeners stood in place with sad expressions, looking at their former comrades who had turned into cold corpses, and remained silent for a long time. Brother, where are you? Where are you? Some awakened ones even died without an intact body, and some awakened ones were looking for their dead bodies with depressed and numb expressions. Some even burst into tears when facing the death of their loved ones, even if they were golden awakeners. At this moment, I couldn't hold it in anymore, my emotions broke down and I burst into tears. In the eyes of ordinary mortals, they may be noble and powerful people, heroes who defend the country. But at the same time, they are also human beings. I also have emotions and I cry when I lose important things and people. Dee dee. At this time, it started to drizzle in the sky, making everything hazy. Soon, heavy rain began to pour down. Advertisement. The raindrops fell mercilessly on the awakened people, making the already sad atmosphere even more depressing. But these awakened ones were indifferent, holding the bodies of their comrades and looking for those close to them. In the official live broadcast room, all the humans who were watching the live broadcast fell silent after seeing this scene. The celebration barrage of messages for victory also disappeared at this moment, not a single barrage of messages passed by. They looked at the battlefield filled with corpses and blood, and the awakened ones who survived the war. For some reason, everyone's mood became depressed, and some sentimental people even started to have red eyes. My father was attacked by a monster 10 years ago while trying to protect me. Sigh. 6 years ago, our small county was also massacred by monsters. I will never forget that scene. Damn it, I want to become stronger. Very, very strong. I must kill all those monsters once and for all. They are all heroes. The reason why we can live such a stable life is that they are protecting us. They are all heroes. Yes, they are all heroes. After a brief silence, the barrage of comments began again, with the word, hero, floating around densely. The female officer who was the host didn't know what to say at this moment. After a long while, she took a deep breath and said solemnly, everyone, salute to the hero. The words fell. In the live broadcast room, a group of tribute to JPG expressions flashed across, overwhelming and almost covering the entire room. It reveals a sense of solemnity and respect. On the battlefield. Sumo was also drenched in the rain. He watched the scene quietly, and his eyes outside the mask couldn't help but reveal heaviness. Is this the real battlefield? Before, he was fighting monsters for energy points and had no idea that so many people had died. Now that I have come to my senses, the only emotion left is heaviness. War, it turns out, is so cruel and ruthless. Silently, it took away everything that belonged to mankind. At this moment, his state of mind seemed to be infected, and those monsters were no longer just a temptation of energy points. There is a hint of hatred. Oink oink. The rain was getting heavier and heavier, and the coolness kept attacking Sumo's body, making him stunned again and unable to recover for a long time. Well, after a while, he shook his head and walked straight to the armored vehicles gathering area at the rear. He is not strong enough now. What if in the future he becomes fearless of anyone? Maybe we won't let this happen again. Chapter 67. Who does the old man think I am? At the scene, under the command of the old general of the Dongyuan army, the garrison troops began to transport the corpses of the third-level monsters back to the demon city. These are all materials that can be made into armor or even weapons. Even their flesh and blood are very tonic. Naturally, we can't let it go. The logistics department will immediately send the wounded back to the Magic City for treatment. After taking a look at most of the wounded on the battlefield, the old general continued his instructions. As he finished speaking, huge passenger planes came flying from the direction of Demon City. On them, a large number of awakened people of auxiliary treatment were on standby. They were logistical medical personnel who had awakened healing abilities. Their combat effectiveness was not strong, but when it came to saving lives and healing the wounded, they were unmatched by combatants. It is precisely because of the existence of this kind of people that mankind can recover after one war after another. It is a force that cannot be ignored. Mr. Awakener, please get on the plane quickly. I will heal you. Suddenly, a pretty girl passed by Sumo and saw the latter's miserable appearance with blood all over his combat uniform, and immediately called out worriedly. Looking at the girl, Sumo was slightly stunned. She was an acquaintance, but not an acquaintance. It was one of the girls who was also a special recruit. I think her name is Ninkiki. The superpower is the life paradise of the S-level special type healing department, which is one of the people that Sumo is curious about. Unexpectedly, she chose to come to the front line to help. That's right, the S-level special healing abilities can indeed be of great help. Well, she's a kind girl. Sumo looked at her, shook his head and smiled. I'm fine, you go help others who need it. After saying that, he continued walking towards the group of armored vehicles at the rear. Ninkiki frowned at this time, and when she saw Sumo like this, a hint of stubbornness appeared in her childish eyes. She immediately went up to hold Sumo's hand. You are covered in blood, and you still say you are fine. At this moment, Sumo's entire body was covered in bloodline, which had clotted into blood clots on his combat suit. It looks like the injury is indeed serious. Quote. Sumo was speechless. Advertisement. He looked at the girl's worried eyes, and with a shake of his body, he shook off the blood clots. This is the blood of the monsters. I'm really fine. Go treat others. After saying this, without giving Ninkiki a chance to speak, he used his wind body to float away. Ninkiki was stunned where he was. It looks like he's really alright. But his back does look familiar. Never mind. As long as he's alright, he's fine. Next, I, Ninkiki, must save more heroes. Waving her fists in encouragement, the girl continued to trot towards another injured awakener. Soon, Sumo stepped onto an armored vehicle. Around them, some awakened people who were not injured or only slightly injured also boarded the armored vehicles one after another. The subsequent matters will be left to the garrison troops and the demon-suppressing troops. They have been ordered to return to the demon city to rest. As luck would have it, at this moment, those unlucky guys who had rushed to the battlefield with Sumo at the beginning, got on the armored vehicle where Sumo was, but this time there seemed to be a few fewer people, and the temporary team of 10 people had only 5 people left. The 5 people had just stepped onto the armored vehicle, and were stunned when they saw Sumo sitting there quietly. The next moment, the old man among the 5 people came directly to Sumo respectfully. "Sir, thank you for saving my life." The remaining 4 people also saluted towards Sumo and said, "Thank you for saving my life." 5 gold awakeners saluted to a silver awakener. If someone who doesn't know the situation sees this, they will definitely be shocked. But the 5 people knew that the title of Sir was still too light. In the 3 days and 3 nights of fighting, the time when they were targeted by the Wind Wolf King was their most thrilling battle. If Sumo hadn't saved them, they would have most likely died on the spot. The grace of saving their lives is like giving them a second parent, and they feel that simply saying thank you is not enough. The old man sitting next to him suddenly took out a low-level storage bracelet from his arms, and said with a somewhat painful expression, "Sir, I don't have any good things. Take these as a token of my gratitude for saving my life." If I don't give him something, he will feel uncomfortable. Looking at the bracelet handed to him, Sumo's mouth twitched. His current assets were probably more than the 5 people present combined. I shook my head and was about to reject the call, but the system voice popped up. "Host, these people do not have as many assets as you, but they have more magic cores than you." Hearing this, Sumo narrowed his eyes and looked at the old man. "Remember what I said at the beginning. Protecting our homeland is everyone's responsibility. Who do you think I am, old man?" The 5 men's bodies suddenly trembled. Yes, advertisement. The man in front of him came to the battlefield with the determination to defend his homeland from the very beginning. Saving them is just a piece of cake. Guilty, guilty. They are so vulgar that they actually want to repay this adult in such a vulgar way. The 5 of them looked at each other, then looked at Sumo again with even more respect. Very powerful. He is selfless and a true hero. But if you really feel bad, just give me some useless things. I have a hobby, which is to like some beautiful decorations. I have a habit of collecting crystals. The 5 people were admiring him when Sumo's kind-hearted laugh came out. The old man sitting next to him thought for a moment and his eyes suddenly lit up when he heard this, as if he had thought of something. He excitedly took out a fist-sized crystal that emitted a faint light from his storage bracelet. It is a magic core that has absorbed psychic power and still has blood power left. The old man looked at Sumo expectantly. "Sir, look, can this magic core be used as a decoration?" According to this adult's hobby, this useless magic core is still very beautiful and obviously fits the bill. If this adult likes it, then they can repay the favor. As the saying goes, gifts should be given in the right way. This thing doesn't have any trace of vulgarity, it's wonderful. Sumo swallowed his saliva unnoticeably, but smiled calmly on his handsome face. "To be honest, I just use the useless magic core as a decoration. It's just my hobby." The words fell. The 4 people, including the old man, were delighted. They are not stupid and they know that Sumo must have said this out of consideration for their feelings. Whether it's a real hobby or fake. But this is definitely a way for this adult to give them a comfortable way out. "Sir, we actually have a lot of these magic cores that have already absorbed spiritual energy. Since you like them, I will give them all to you. Yes, although it is not even 1/10,000th of the favor you gave me, if you like, I can even collect it for you." After a while, the 5 of them poured out all their magic cores, and the floor of the armored vehicle was suddenly filled with magic cores. Chapter 68, Magic Core Exchange Ratio, Back to School. Looking at the 5 people who were frantically pouring out magic cores, Sumo waved his hands quickly. Enough, enough. In his heart, he was counting the magic cores. 68 pieces. 70 pieces. 85. Ha ha ha. Pour. Keep pouring. "Sir, I have plenty of these things. It's okay. If you like them, we'll give them all to you." "Yes, my storage bracelet is not big enough, otherwise I would definitely put all the ones at home in it and give them to you, my lord. I have been in the Golden Realm for so many years, and I have definitely used the most magic cores. Unfortunately, most of them were sold to those cheap merchants. If I keep them, I guarantee you will be satisfied." As they spoke, these guys seemed to be competing to see who had more magic cores, and they were all working hard to pour them out. After a while, the space inside the armored vehicle was filled with magic cores. The other awakened people who wanted to get on the bus were all confused. What does this guy in the car want to do? Don't want to let them get on the bus and then use the magic core to occupy the seat. Sumo quickly put these monsters into the storage ring, and the corners of his mouth under the mask were almost grinning to his ears. Seemingly, 2 million energy points are not so far away anymore. Thinking happily, he immediately smiled at the 5 people and said, we still have some distance to go to the Magic City, let's take a rest first. After saying this, his consciousness immersed itself in the system. He couldn't help but want to check out the exchange rate of magic cores. System, what is the exchange rate for magic cores? Ding. The ratio of magic cores to energy points is as follows. Complete third level initial magic core, about 400 energy points. Incomplete third order initial magic core, about 200 energy points. Complete third stage intermediate magic core, about 600 energy points. Incomplete third stage magic core, about 300 energy points. Complete third stage late magic core, about 800 energy points. Incomplete third stage late magic core, about 400 energy points. Complete third order boss level magic core, about 1000 energy points. Advertisement. Incomplete third order boss level magic core, about 500 energy points. Looking at the redemption list, Sumo was still very satisfied. In general, the psychic power contained in a complete magic core is not as pure as that of a psychic stone. But it is already very good to have such an energy point. It is equivalent to a lower grade or even mid-grade psychic stone. The magic core that only has bloodline power left is almost half of the complete magic core. Although it is not a lot, once the base number is increased, it will be terrifying. Sumo's next goal will still be to target these incomplete magic cores. After all, it is complete and can be provided for the practice of Golden Awakeners, and no one will trade it easily. Only if it is incomplete can Sumo easily obtain it. As for the 4th level magic core, even if it is incomplete, it should be difficult to receive it. After all, a 4th level monster is equivalent to a diamond powerful human. In this battle, even with the participation of the 9 demon suppressing armies, not many died, so it was naturally difficult to obtain. It seems that only the 3rd level incomplete magic core is my future source of wealth. Thinking secretly, Sumo began to instruct the system to absorb the magic core in the storage ring. Most of them are actually in the early 3rd stage, and except for those obtained by Sumo himself, all of them are incomplete. Ding. The host absorbed a broken 3rd level initial magic core and gained 198 energy points. Ding. The host absorbed a complete 3rd stage intermediate magic core and gained 610 energy points. Ding. The host absorbed a broken 3rd level initial magic core and gained 204 energy points. Ding. The host absorbed a complete 3rd level initial magic core and obtained. Soon, the magic core inside the storage ring was being absorbed crazily. As the energy was completely absorbed, it turned into a pile of powder and scattered away on the spot. About 10 minutes later, there are about 300 incomplete 3rd level initial magic cores, each worth about 200 points, for a total of 63,514 energy points. As for the complete magic cores that Sumo obtained, except for the ones from the 3rd level boss, he did not exchange them. The rest obtained a total of 45,842 energy points, which adds up to more than 110,000. Not bad, not bad. It is indeed a business opportunity. Open black lens bracket energy points close black lens bracket, 565479. Looking at the numbers in the energy point column, he immediately unlocked the infinite space of the system. Spent 100,000. Suddenly, advertisement. Sumo's thoughts appeared in a boundless and infinite space, truly boundless and infinite, with no end in sight. That intermediate quality storage ring is nothing but trash in front of it. After putting the demonic blade Xiaoyu and some valuable items into the system space, he exited the system. Outside. At this moment, the armored vehicles have already rushed back towards the direction of the Magic City. There were now a few more awakened people in the car, all with sad expressions on their faces. After a while, the armored vehicle drove into the southern urban area. Sumo got off the vehicle quickly and disappeared into the crowd like a ghost. When he appeared again, he had taken off his mask and changed into his usual clothes. His cultivation level was also suppressed to the level of silver 1 star. Sumo stopped a taxi and smiled at the driver. Master, Magic City University. Young man, I'm happy today and I won't charge you any money, ha ha ha. When they arrived at the entrance of Shanghai University, the driver grinned at Sumo while watching the official live broadcast room. Sumo smiled and said, "Thank you very much, sir." Turning around, he immediately walked towards the majestic and ancient school gate. However, after taking only a few steps, his body froze in place. In his field of vision, he saw 4 figures standing at the school gate. 2 men and 2 women came over immediately after seeing him. It was Shangguan Feiyan and the others. Sumo suddenly looked embarrassed, not knowing whether to walk or stand. As she came closer, Shangguan Feiyan's beautiful eyes kept staring at Sumo, looking him up and down. It wasn't until Sumo got a little nervous from being stared at that she breathed a sigh of relief and said softly, "I'm glad you're okay." Yi Xiaoshui on the side looked at Master Bo behind her angrily. "Master Bo only told us about your promotion to the Silver Realm, and kept silent about the rest. He made us so angry, but I know that your stinky junior must have gone to the battlefield, right? He made us worry to death, humph." Cheng Wushang came to Sumo's side, and also looked Sumo up and down, even raising his hands, becoming dishonest. Brother Mo, you actually left your brother behind and ran off to such a dangerous place by yourself. That's too much. FKU, I'm not gay. Sumo kicked him away, then looked at Shangguan Feiyan. Senior sister, I'm sorry. Old Bo was standing by and said helplessly, my dear Su, if I hadn't stopped the young lady, she would have run to the battlefield to find you. I am so miserable, old man. Fortunately, you are fine, otherwise I would have been hated for the rest of my life. The words fell. Shangguan Feiyan first glared at Bo Lao fiercely, then turned to look at Sumo. Did you really go to the battlefield? Sumo nodded. Yeah. Quote. After a moment of silence, Shangguan Feiyan turned around and walked towards the school gate. I've cooked, let's go back. Chapter 69. What the hell is a tenfold increase? Walking on the road leading to the dormitory area. Although Shangguan Feiyan was walking in front, she would turn her head to look at Sumo from time to time. Yi Xiaoshui was even more so. She, Bo Lao, and Cheng Wushang followed behind him, staring at Sumo's back with their beautiful eyes blatantly. Sumo was helpless. Just keep asking if you have any questions. Yi Xiaoshui. Junior, have you really been promoted to the Silver Realm? They heard what Mr. Bo said, but in fact, they were still very curious in their hearts. Only Cheng Wushang showed a proud expression, as he had known for a long time that Brother Mo had been promoted to the Silver Realm. He looked so arrogant, as if the person who was promoted to Silver was himself. When asked by Yi Xiaoshui, Sumo's body immediately revealed a Silver 1-star spiritual energy aura. Suddenly, Yi Xiaoshui's eyes widened as she stared blankly at Sumo's slender back. Although Shangguan Feiyan in front did not turn her head, there was a hint of shock in her beautiful eyes at this moment. When Sumo registered for school half a month ago, he was still a Black Iron 6-star, and it has only been about 2 weeks now. He was promoted to the Silver Realm. This speed is too fast. After a long while, Yi Xiaoshui couldn't help but whispered, Junior, you are really a pervert. Cheng Wushang on the side was unhappy. Senior sister, please be careful with your words. My brother Mo is a gentleman and will not pervert. PFF'd. I meant his talent. From the front, Shangguan Feiyan's slightly stubborn voice could be heard. Junior, do you still remember our agreement to spar again? Hearing this, Sumo looked at the perfect figure and said teasingly, Senior, I'm showing my cards this time. You may not be able to beat me. You won't know until you fight. You definitely can't beat me. You won't know until you fight. The 3 people behind them looked at the 2 people who were arguing. Except for Yi Xiaoshui, Bo Lao and Cheng Wushang looked at each other and smiled strangely. This relationship is too subtle. Why does it feel like a young couple is arguing? Soon, the 4 returned to the dormitory, and on the dining table on the 2nd floor, a steaming seafood dinner came into view. These are all Sumo's favorite foods. At the side, Cheng Wushang's eyes sparkled, and he grinned and said, thanks to Brother Mo, I'm in for a treat tonight. Eat. For 3 days and 3 nights, Sumo had been eating compressed food while fighting, and his stomach had already shriveled up. Now seeing such a delicious meal on the table, he wolfed it down without any manner of manner. After a full meal, Junior, you should rest well in the dormitory and don't run around, understand? After saying this solemnly, Shangguan Feiyan left the school with Yi Xiaoshui and returned to their family. In this battle, the Shangguan family and the Yi family sent quite a few awakened people. Advertisement. The war was over, so naturally they had to go back and see what was going on. After the 3 people left, Sumo and Cheng Wushang went down to the living room on the 1st floor and sat down comfortably. Cheng Wushang suddenly took out his cell phone, approached Sumo slyly, pointed at a video on the phone and grinned. Brother Mo, you are so fierce. The video shows Sumo following the Burning Sky Army team in a killing spree. Sumo glanced at him. You can recognize this. Last time when you were taking care of me in the cave, you accidentally took out this mask. I saw it and then I guessed it. FK. How dare you trick me? Brother Mo, you are so fierce. Ahem. Keep a low profile, got it. I understand, Mo. After Cheng Wushang went back to rest, Sumo immediately opened the system panel. Looking at the remaining 460,000 energy points, he murmured in thought, should I improve my cultivation or save it? At present, there are only 2 directions for him to consume. Upgrade team mode, or unlock character progress and continue to improve your strength. Host, there are more places where you will need energy points in the future. For example, if you upgrade the system, you will have more opportunities to extract templates and activate some auxiliary functions of the system, such as the team mode. The system's voice suddenly came. Sumo, you want to drain me dry. Ding. The prompts given by the system are all for the host to become stronger. Quote. Shaking his head, Sumo clicked on Whitebeard's character template. Remind me of these later when necessary. After witnessing the cruel war this time, I feel that I am still weak. Let's improve my strength first, so that I can have more power to protect myself. Current unlock progress of Whitebeard. The power of shock unlocked level 17.1%. Conqueror's Haki unlocked 10.2%. Armament Haki Intermediate, unlocking level 0.2%. Observation Haki Basic, unlocked 50.4%. Physical skills unlocked level 30.4%. Sword skills unlocked level 21.3%. Just fly directly to the Golden Realm. Taking a deep breath, Sumo started to exchange. Conqueror's Haki was clearly lacking in this fight. Exchange. 20% of the unlocking progress was achieved, and 160,000 was instantly invested. For sword skills, exchange them to 30%, and the unlocking progress of 9% is another 18,000. Advertisement. Intermediate observation Haki, 50%, 50,000. Finally, the power of shock, which is also the most expensive, was exchanged for 13%, and another 130,000 was spent. A total of 358,000. Damn, money is really spent like water. Current unlock progress of Whitebeard. The power of shock unlocked level 30.1%. Conqueror's Haki unlocked 30.2%. Armament Haki Intermediate, unlocking level 0.2%. Observation Haki Intermediate, unlocked 0.4%. Physical skills unlocked level 30.4%. Sword skills unlocked level 30.3%. Ding. Since host observation Haki has been unlocked to the intermediate level, the exchange price has increased from 1,000 points to 3,000 points. Ding. Since the host's swordsmanship has been unlocked to 30% progress, the exchange price has increased from 2,000 points to 4,000 points. Ding. Since host Conqueror's Haki has been unlocked to 30% progress, the exchange price has increased from 8,000 points to 80,000 points. Ding. Since the host's shock power has been unlocked to 30% progress, the exchange price has increased from 10,000 points to 100,000 points. System. 10 times the price, are you serious? Sumo is gone. In his estimation, the two most expensive abilities would be at most 3 times as much, which should be about right. But now, what the hell is this tenfold increase? Are they trying to steal money and energy points? Ding. The power of the shock wave and Conqueror's Haki feedback the most. When it reaches a certain stage, it will naturally consume more. Well, that makes a lot of sense. But you're ridiculously expensive, aren't you? If it weren't for the trade route of collecting incomplete magic cores, Sumo would definitely have become autistic. You know, he can obtain so many energy points only in this one battle. Later on, there won't be so many opportunities for him to take advantage of opportunities, which is difficult to bear. Ding. Do you want to receive the initiation now? Sighing, Sumo nodded. The next moment, several forces surged in instantly. And just when Sumo was making crazy progress, in the official live broadcast room that was about to be shut down, a piece of news was also posted at the top headline alongside the battle situation. Reminder. 3 days later, the 3021 freshmen will officially start school, no need to postpone. Closing square bracket. Chapter 70. 3021 freshmen start school. After a few days, this heavy battle in the Magic City was completely digested. The monsters did not counterattack again. They heard that the 9 demon suppressing armies had already cleared all the dangerous places around them. He is very determined to destroy the frontline fortress of the surrounding monsters. But in the end, they only killed some high-level monsters, which merely alleviated the future pressure on the demon city. No means or conspiracy was discovered that the monsters could block detection this time. Such a result obviously made the top government officials very dissatisfied, but they were helpless. Finally, the 9 demon suppressing armies had to retreat back to the Magic City. After leaving some forces to guard the Magic City, the 4 legions returned to their respective bases. Of course, they did not teleport, but made a long journey. After all, the cost of teleporting such a huge legion was too high. The restoration plan for the southern fortress was officially launched in the past few days, and various government departments are busy. People's attention has also shifted from this battle to the start of school for new students. Today, the 3021 freshman class started school. Sophomores, juniors and seniors from various universities are about to return to school. The high-speed trains in major cities are now packed with students, and the high school graduates are especially excited. Coming to a new city or a new university environment, no matter which class you are from, you will definitely be full of expectations. I fantasize about soaring into the sky, stunning everyone, and becoming the most beautiful kid on campus. I fantasize about whether I can encounter a wonderful fate, meet a new girl, or be looked at twice by a senior girl, or even favored by her. Of course, more than that, I am still worried. Most of them are actually just students who have awakened E-level and D-level supernatural powers, and may be geniuses in their small county. But in the big cities, they seem so ordinary that they can't be more ordinary. Therefore, some self-aware students will choose local universities in the county. I would rather be a local genius than be an inconspicuous mediocre person in a big city. Only those who are confident and want to try their luck will come to big cities. The most embarrassing thing is those students who were born in big cities, but whose awakened superpowers are the worst. In big cities, even for ordinary universities, C-level superpowers are required. If you don't even have a C grade and were born in a big city, you only have 3 options. First, you can spend a huge amount of money to enter some private martial arts schools, and there will be professional training, but it costs money everywhere. Second, they have to compromise and go to ordinary cities and attend ordinary universities, where there are relatively fewer resources. Third, go through the back door. Advertisement. After all, national resources are limited, so priority will definitely be given to training better talents. So at this moment, in addition to the special admissions students who have awakened S-level superpowers and the recommended students who have awakened A-level superpowers, even all the students who had awakened B-level superpowers were extremely nervous. Because there is still an assessment. Maybe it is not necessary for ordinary universities, but for some famous universities, they must pass the assessment and obtain qualified scores before being admitted. Students with B-level abilities have relatively more opportunities. Even if they cannot enter the top 5 universities, there will still be many schools that want them. But for those below B-level, it will be difficult. Once they fail, they can only retreat again and cannot choose their favorite school at the first time. At this time, there was already a huge crowd of people at the gate of Shanghai University. There are seniors returning to school, parents with their children, and more, of course, high school graduates. Is this the Magic City University? It's really impressive. God bless me. God bless me. Please let me study at the Magic City University. One of the top 5 universities. The university that all young people dream of. I hope I can be admitted. Wow, there are so many pretty seniors and girls. The quality is much higher than that in our city. Love it, love it. I have a B-level ability. As the most beautiful boy in the city, I must work hard to pass the assessment. Then I can live a shameless life with the girls and seniors for 4 years. I really envy you B-level geniuses. Even if you fail to get in, you still have other key universities to choose from. Alas, I'm a D-level student. I don't know if I can get in. Brother, the C rank, haven't even said anything yet, and you're talking. What the hell are you thinking? He's stubborn. Stubborn +1, comma. In the crowd, the freshmen looked at the gate of Magic City University one by one, their faces flushed, and they started discussing excitedly. Of course, most of the excited ones were geniuses who had awakened B-level superpowers, and the rest just came here to broaden their horizons. FK. It's Gojo, our Magic City's recommended student. How great. He can be directly recommended to Magic City. I'm so jealous and envious. Is he Gojo? A genius student who has awakened the A-level elemental class. So handsome. Alas, how can one person's fate be so different from another? He's handsome, talented, and has a bright future. You need to be more open-minded, brother. We envy them as recommended students, and they envy those special admission students who have started school early. People can't envy others, woo-woo, but I really envy them. After a burst of exclamations from the crowd, a handsome young man got off a luxurious floating psychic car. Then, followed by a butler, he walked into the gate of Magic City University with a proud look on his face. After saying hello to the teachers in charge of reporting, he continued to walk into the Magic City University. On the way, some sophomores and juniors who only had B-level abilities looked at him and couldn't help but reveal a hint of envy. People with A-level talents have a higher starting point than them. As long as they work hard, their future achievements will definitely be brighter than theirs. As the recommended student named Gojo entered the school gate, bursts of exclamations were heard from the crowd. Advertisement. The subsequent recommended students also arrived one by one, attracting everyone's attention. This is the rule, the recommended students report first, and then the assessment begins. Everyone just waited quietly and took a look at the demeanor of each of the recommended students. Just at this moment, excuse me, please make way, please make way. A masculine-looking boy pushed through the crowd and ran straight to the registration office with an excited look on his face. The young man came to the registration office and immediately said, Shenderong, from Tianai City, C-level enhanced supernatural power metallization. The young man was none other than Shenderong, who came from Tianai City. And as his words fell, the people watching around were stunned. C-level superpowers. Be the first one to register as a recommended student. What the hell? Doesn't this guy know the rules? What the hell? Is this guy crazy? I don't even dare to take a step forward with my B-level ability, so what is his C-level ability? Ha ha ha. He must be a country bumpkin from somewhere. I heard that there have been such blunders in the past. Just get used to it. Just get used to it. I am only C rank. Although I am not convinced by being looked down upon, I know myself well. Brother, I am afraid you will be embarrassed. Of course not. Look at his excited face. He will definitely be embarrassed later. The crowd looked at Shenderong and immediately started talking about him with contempt, all wanting to see the next joke he would make. However, before the group of people had finished their discussion, a series of heart-wrenching screams suddenly came from inside the campus gate of Magic City University. All these discussions were suppressed. Ah, it's Chief Su. Ah, I finally see the real person. Ah, sisters, I can't stand it, he's so handsome in real life. Long live Lord Su. He actually showed up, it's unprecedented. Amid the screams of senior students, a tall and handsome young man was walking towards the school gate with an expectant look on his face, followed by a group of students. Chapter 71 Between us, what's the point of thanking me? The screams could be heard from far away, reaching the entire school gate. Everyone who was waiting for the test outside was stunned. What's going on? What's going on over there? These screams that make my ears numb, are they coming from a senior from Magic City University? Ah, what a beautiful voice. FK, look over there. There are so many senior girls, all so pretty. Where? Wow, it's really a long, ahem, there are so many beautiful seniors. Who is the one in front of them? I'm jealous. All those senior girls are staring at the guy in front of me. Who is he? Outside the school gate, many people noticed the slowly approaching crowd. When they saw the slender figure at the head being surrounded by the group of beautiful women, they immediately talked about it sourly and had already forgotten about Shenderong's matter. Damn it, who is this brother? I am so happy to be surrounded by so many beautiful senior schoolmates. If they are not blind, then any one of these senior girls must be much better than the school belle in their high school, right? Damn, if you count carefully, there are at least 100 of these enchanting and graceful figures, if not 1,000, right? This is the scene they have always fantasized about after entering university. Inside the school gate, those students who had just entered the school gate were also shocked by this scene. Suddenly I felt like my light had been snatched away, and I felt very uncomfortable. Moreover, they were standing in the middle of the avenue at this time, facing the group of approaching seniors. The handsome young man named Jujutsu was standing at the front, the first to face the oncoming crowd. He looked at the slender figure at the head with some envy. Who was he? The words fell. The butler behind him was confused at first, then seemed to think of something, and his eyes widened. Master, from what the students are saying, it seems to be the one who has been making so much noise these days. It's widely spread. Jujutsu was stunned at first, and the next moment he couldn't help but whispered, Sumo. At this time, the crowd had already walked in front of him. Subconsciously, Jujutsu reacted and quickly pulled the butler aside. Advertisement. Then he continued to look at the slender figure at the head with a look of shock. The slight bit of unhappiness in my heart disappeared at this moment. These days, amid all the excitement surrounding the start of school in Shanghai, each university's highly anticipated talented freshmen will be hotly discussed. They are all hot topics such as someone will definitely have a bright future and be ranked first among the freshmen in Magic City. The Media and Public Relations Department even came up with a ranking of the freshmen of the class of 3021 in Magic City. As a recommended student of Magic City University, Jujutsu is naturally one of the best. But at this moment, he, a talented student who ranked at the top of the class, was nothing in front of that tall figure. Sumo, this year's S-level Special Attack Department special recruits from Magic City University. As soon as he entered school, he stood out from the crowd with his black iron 6-star cultivation. He swept all the specially recruited students in the friendly match and was appointed as the top freshman of Magic City University this year by the extraordinary principal. The monster wave a few days ago showed his invincible combat power that no one in the same level could match. After returning and secluding for a period of time, his cultivation level directly broke through to the realm of Silver 1-star. Incredible combat power and incredible talent. In the past few days, the name Sumo has become a household name. He was positioned by major media and public relations as a transcendent existence among the freshmen of the class of 3021 in Magic City. First of all, it was a blasphemy to his talent. Some media even boldly declared that Sumo is the strongest freshman in this class of mankind. The top spot in this year's freshman competition must still belong to Magic City. Compared with this person, Jujutsu's status as a recommended student is really nothing. Damn it, it's an honor to make way for the big guys. Behind him, some students who were admitted by recommendation seemed to recognize Sumo, and they were flattered and made way for him one by one. Even some people who didn't recognize it because they didn't watch the news were intimidated by the powerful aura and subconsciously stepped aside. Outside, as Sumo got closer and closer to the school gate. FK, he's Sumo. Damn, I was just mesmerized by those long, senior girls and didn't pay attention for a while. Now I realize it's my idol. Ever since I saw the scene of a man standing on a mountain of corpses, I have become a die-hard fan of Idol Su. No way. This time I came to Magic University not only to broaden my horizons, but also to see this evil chief student, and I actually got my wish. Advertisement. Is he Sumo? This young man is incredible. If my son could have even 1% of his talent, I would be very satisfied. Even if it means shortening my life by half, I would be willing to do it. Brother, don't even mention 1%. If my daughter is even 1,000th of him, I will burn incense on my head immediately. Wow, Susu is so handsome. For him, I must be admitted to Magic City University. Don't dream, Master Sumo is mine. When they arrived at the school gate, Sumo's identity had been fully recognized, and the thunderous exclamations could not be stopped. Especially some young girls who are just beginning to fall in love, their eyes are sparkling at this moment. The look towards Sumo was full of amorous glances and a hint of shyness, and it was obvious that she was attracted to him. If a person only has a good appearance, his attractiveness can only be said to be good. At this moment, Sumo had a pair of sharp and deep sword eyes, three-dimensional and handsome facial features, and excellent temperament. Coupled with the monstrous talent that swept away all the freshmen, his appeal was off the charts. Absolutely a killer girl. Ignoring the enthusiastic gazes of the crowd, Sumo came to Chen Durong's registration location with an expectant look. The ordinary teacher in charge of registration just wanted to say hello to him, student Sumo. Immediately. Ha 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 ha. It was interrupted by a burst of hearty laughter. Sumo and Chen Durong laughed and looked at each other. Ha ha ha. They all burst into laughter again. After a long while, Chen Durong took a deep breath, looked at the elegant Sumo in front of him, and said excitedly, more. Before he could finish his words, Sumo interrupted him by hooking his shoulder and saying, between us, there's no need to thank each other. Dad has already said that he will definitely protect you once you awaken your S-level supernatural power. What do you think? Isn't Dad considerate enough? Looking at that handsome face so close to him, and the undisguised teasing. Chen Durong grinned and said, luckily you have awakened your S-level ability, otherwise I would have slapped myself to death. Fortunately. Wait, your son didn't set up any bad flags on the day of the awakening ceremony. Being stared at by Sumo with ill intent, Chen Durong shrank his head. Stand up. Well, if you awaken an S-level power, I will do the butterfly stroke in a manure pond to celebrate for you. Chapter 72. You are my brother. Good fellow. You are so cruel. Sumo immediately looked at Chen Durong with admiration. He dares to set a flag like butterfly stroke in a manure pond, what a man. When will it be fulfilled? Sumo has grown up, but he has never seen such an interesting and cool operation, whether in his previous life or this year. Hearing Sumo's expectant greeting, Chen Durong's scalp went numb. He swore to God that he definitely didn't mean it, and that flag was just something he said casually in his mind. Who the hell knew that good brothers could really awaken S-level superpowers? How could an S-level supernatural power appear in that crappy place of Tianai City? No one in the city dares to think about it. Gurgle. After swallowing a mouthful of saliva, Chen Durong said aggrievedly, brother, can you be gentler? Can I do butterfly stroke in the urinal? Poochie. Ha ha ha. Looking at Chen Durong's cowardly look, Sumo chuckled and said, I was just kidding. How could I really let you go? But I will remember this punishment. I will tell you when I have thought it through. Thank you for not killing me. The scene of the two people laughing and playing was seen by everyone. Some people who had previously looked down on Chen Durong suddenly changed their attitude and became envious and jealous. The sour smell immediately filled the air. That guy turned out to be Chief Sus' friend. I'm so jealous. I seem to smell the scent of a back door. Oh my goodness, it turns out that the clown is actually us. I heard that the top student of Magic City University has a lot of power, and that the principal made an exception to appoint Chief Su as the top student. He thinks highly of him. Ahem. It seems that this C-level supernatural brother does not follow the ordinary path. Envy, jealousy and hatred. I wish I knew someone at Magic City University, woo-woo. Damn it, sisters, I'm so envious of that guy named Chen Durong. Master Sumo actually smiled at him and put his arm around his shoulder. I'm so happy. Ah, Lord Sumo's smile is so hard to bear. I want to rush up and knock him down. Sisters, do you think it's possible? Add me 1. Plus 2. At this moment, not to mention the strange train of thought of the little girls, most of the people here are not fools. Everyone knows what's going on. Chen Durong is not stupid. But it's someone in Modu University, and it's Chief Su who has been making a lot of noise in recent times. He doesn't follow the usual path. Advertisement. Damn, I'm so envious. Registration office. Sumo looked at the teacher in charge of registration. Teacher, the higher-ups should have told you about this, right? The teacher smiled and nodded, then looked at Chen Durong cordially. Congratulations, Chen Durong, you have officially become a freshman of the class of 3021 at our Magic City University. As early as half a month ago, Teacher Yan had already greeted them in advance. Even before the monster tide arrived, Principal Feng Xiaoyao had already issued a notice to meet all of Sumo's requirements. The teachers who are responsible for reporting naturally keep it in mind. Been waiting for this student named Chen Durong. Now with his friendly look and welcoming voice, anyone with a discerning eye could tell that he was trying to please Sumo. The other teachers who were registering the students immediately looked at him with envy. Damn, this guy got all the good impression. Sumo raised the corners of his mouth slightly and looked at the work badge of this ordinary teacher. Teacher Huang, I wish you good luck in recruiting students. We will be leaving now. He deliberately emphasized the pronunciation of Huang's last name. The meaning is very clear. After saying that, Sumo took Chen Durong into the campus. A group of senior students immediately followed suit, and in their words, we have fallen. Walking on the campus, Sumo's movements once again attracted a lot of people's attention. More and more senior students came over with curiosity. After finding out it was Sumo, the women screamed and the men howled like wolves, and the popularity exploded. Following Sumo, Chen Durong saw this scene out of the corner of his eye and his whole body froze. So nervous. In the past, how could he, an outsider in Tianai City, enter a holy place like Modu University? All the senior students following behind him are good-looking and talented B-level students. If you take any one of them alone, even Chen Durong can't compare to him. But at this time, following Sumo, he actually also benefited from it and attracted a lot of attention. Although I was only looking at him out of curiosity about his relationship with Sumo, it's enough for me to brag about for the rest of my life. Immediately, he looked at Sumo. Amo, you should be doing well, right? Sumo chuckled and said, it's okay, didn't you watch the news? Advertisement. When the seniors who were following the two of them heard this, their mouths twitched immediately. Good job. This sentence is okay, it really shocked them. However, the way they looked at Sumo was even more admiring and infatuated. Strong, talented, and low-key. They love it, they love this kind of junior Sumo. Soon, Chen Durong took out his cell phone and started looking at it. When he saw Sumo's deeds, suddenly, he turned to look at Sumo with resentment. You guy, you are still so pretentious. Sumo used to be so humble when he was in No. 3 middle school, but his actions made people want to beat him to death. Crush all the children of awakened families, break the limit record, just work hard. I got first place in the liberal arts, so the teacher can't teach me anything. I just need to work hard. This is not just a pretense. Chen Durong immediately stood upside down and had diarrhea. After a while, Sumo brought Chen Durong to the villa area for special admission students. A group of senior students behind him saw this. Master Sumo, remember to go out more often. I will never get tired of you. Yes, we don't care about your love with Senior Feiyan. We will just watch you quietly from a distance, quietly. Ah, if I were a girl, I would definitely chase after my junior. Huh, brother, your thoughts are very dangerous. We are worshipping. It is worshipping. Remember, it is worshipping. Yes, yes, yes. I almost went astray, damn. Under the reluctant gaze of the senior students, Sumo and Chen Durong immediately stepped into the villa area for special admission students. Along the way, Chen Durong was like a country bumpkin who had just arrived in the city and was shocked by the luxurious villas of the special admission students. He swallowed his saliva and said, Amo, you special recruits are treated really well. Sumo grinned and said, then you can live here from now on. Ah, Chen Durong screamed in surprise, looking flattered. I read the introduction of Magic City University. Doesn't it say that only special admission students can live in the villa area? I'm a C-level idiot, wouldn't it be a bit bad? What's good or bad about that? You're my brother, and this is one of my rights as the head student. From now on, you can live with a brother I met at Magic City University. It seems that he has a vacancy. Chen Durong felt warm inside when he heard Sumo's words. What virtue and ability does Chen Durong have? Having a brother like this. As they chatted, the two soon arrived at Villa No. 10. Chapter 73. It would be a shame not to eat the food cooked by Moje. Standing in front of the door, Chen Durong looked around curiously, and was stunned when he saw the two names on the doorplate. Below is Sumo, his good brother. The words above are about a nice-sounding name called Shangguan Feiyan. Shangguan Feiyan. It seems to be a girl's name. Good job. His brother actually lived with a girl. It's only been a month, is it so exciting? Thinking of this, Chen Durong immediately looked at Sumo with admiration. No wonder when I introduced my cousins to this guy on the phone, he was just perfunctory. It turns out there is. Beep beep. In front of Villa No. 10, Sumo chuckled, swiped his student ID, and the sci-fi door slowly opened. Seeing his good brother making a gesture of invitation, Chen Durong immediately walked in somewhat stiffly. Bang bang bang. Congratulations on joining Magic City University. There was a sound of flower tubes, followed by 3 voices. A simple and amiable dish. An ethereal and beautiful sound. A trace of arrogance. It was a little surprise that Sumo had called Cheng Wushang, Shangguan Feiyan and the others to prepare in advance. Cheng Wushang and Shangguan Feiyan agreed to Sumo's request without saying a word, and even Yi Xiaoshui had to follow the crowd. Quote. At this time, Chen Durong was a little confused and flattered. The 3 people in front of him, who were able to be in the villa area, meant that they were all special recruits. They should be the talented friends that Amo knew. Especially when he saw the 2 women, he lowered his head shyly. This is so beautiful, I feel a little afraid to get close. Especially that beautiful lady in black dress who has a calm face but is breathtakingly beautiful. I dare not look at her directly. Advertisement. Seeing him like this, Sumo patted his shoulder helplessly and said, Hey, you guy, raise your head quickly and stop being so humble. After saying that, Sumo pointed at Cheng Wushang who was smiling innocently. This guy is the brother I just told you about at Magic City University. His name is Cheng Wushang, and he is a special recruit in the same class as us. Cheng Wushang quickly stepped forward and grabbed Chen Durong's hand, and said with a silly smile, Hello, Brother Durong. I heard from Brother Mo that you are his best brother, and you seem to be older than me, can I call you Brother Durong? No. You are a special recruit with S-level abilities, and you are also Mo's brother. Just call me Durong. Chen Durong still looked flattered and excited. This is an S-level special recruit. Among the billions of people in the human race, there are only such a small group of monsters, and they call themselves brothers with sea-level superpowers. How can I bear this? Bang. Sumo slapped the guy's butt hard and said, Darong is a very good person. Let's not talk about those things. Once he decides on something, he will still shout. Just follow him. Cheng Wushang grinned immediately. Brother Mo still understands me, Brother Darong, from now on we are the three brothers of Modu University. Sumo nodded, and then pointed at Shangguan Feiyan. This one is amazing, her name is Shangguan Feiyan, she is a senior who is a special teacher of our school, and she is the top student of the sophomore year. After he finished speaking, Shangguan Feiyan's pretty face turned slightly red. Is this the first time that his junior praised her in front of outsiders? Shangguan Feiyan. Chen Darong's body trembled when he heard this. Is this breathtakingly beautiful woman the one who lives with his best friend? And he is the top student in his sophomore year. Senior student. Goddess. Brother Mo is awesome. He has only been at Shanghai University for a month and he has already won the goddess of Shanghai University. He saw the subtle change in the goddess senior's face when she was introduced by his good brother just now. Living together again, they are definitely in that relationship. Immediately, Chen Darong bowed respectfully and said, My name is Chen Darong, hello, sister-in-law. Brother Mo is grateful for your care. The words fell. The scene suddenly became quiet. Cheng Wushang looked at Sumo and Shangguan Feiyan with an ambiguous expression, trying not to laugh. Shangguan Feiyan's pretty face turned even redder, and her expression didn't change much, but the contrast made her look a little more cute. Yi Xiaoshui was immediately furious. What did you just say? Chen Darong took 2 steps back subconsciously because of the glare. Sister-in-law. Sister-in-law, aren't Amo and senior sister Shangguan in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship? They are living together, and their relationship is so subtle, isn't it that kind of relationship? Advertisement. Ahem. Sumo coughed lightly at the side and said, Darong, this is senior Shangguan's childhood friend. You can just call her senior Yi. Chen Darong was confused, but he still quickly said to Yi Xiaoshui politely, Hello, senior sister Yi. Welcome to Modu University, junior brother Darong. Yi Xiaoshui snorted twice and turned her head away immediately. She was certainly not angry, she was just being arrogant. She was not stupid, so she naturally knew that Shangguan Feiyan must really be interested in Sumo, and the relationship between these two was already established. I'm afraid I can't stop it, but she just can't help being jealous. Damn it. Don't stand there, come sit in the hall. I'll cook today. After the introduction, Sumo immediately went to his kitchen on the first floor. Shangguan Feiyan, Cheng Wushang, and Yi Xiaoshui looked at Sumo's back and were stunned. Brother Mo, you can cook. Seeing the shocked expressions of the 3 people, Chen Darong asked in confusion, Haven't you ever eaten the food cooked by Amo? As he spoke, he showed a look of reminiscing, and continued, During the 3 years of high school, Amo cooked all the meals by himself in the rented house. Even though I am used to eating ordinary delicacies, I still can't forget the taste. His cooking skills are very high. It would be a pity for those who haven't tasted it. As Chen Darong finished speaking, Shangguan Feiyan and the other 2 narrowed their eyes and stared straight at the slender figure. Sumo turned his head helplessly. I never said I can't cook, it's just that the food my senior sister cooked is so delicious, so I'm too lazy to cook, and I've been busy with cultivation recently, so naturally I don't have the time. In his previous life, he was actually quite good at cooking. After traveling through time, life was difficult and naturally he had to cook for himself. There's nothing strange about developing good cooking skills. After a while, Shangguan Feiyan followed Sumo's steps and walked into the kitchen. Her beautiful eyes were filled with curiosity and fighting spirit. In addition to cultivation, her other great hobby is cooking, and now she learns that her junior's cooking skills seem to be pretty good. Naturally I want to compare. Nearly an hour later, a table of delicious food was presented on the table. Yi Xiaoshui looked incredulous. Did you really make this? Sumo. What else? It looks good, but it definitely won't taste as good as Feiyan's. Having said that, Yi Xiaoshui immediately put a piece of braised pork into her mouth, and then, her beautiful eyes widened. Cheng Wushang followed closely behind and quickly picked up a piece. After chewing it, his eyes lit up. It's delicious. Better than what senior sister Shangguan makes. The sound stopped abruptly. Shangguan Feiyan, who was sitting next to him, looked at Cheng Wushang who seemed to want to say something but hesitated, her beautiful eyes flickering, and then she picked up a piece of meat and put it into her mouth. Chapter 74. Freshman Competition Candidates, selected by Sumo. Chewing slowly, Shangguan Feiyan bit her red lips lightly the next moment and looked at Sumo unwillingly. Junior, you cook better than me. Shangguan Feiyan is very confident in her cooking skills and has been recognized by masters who say she is very talented. Now, her confidence was shattered by Sumo. Although I don't want to admit it, the food cooked by my junior is really delicious. He surpassed her in talent, and now he surpassed her in hobbies as well, which made Shangguan Feiyan uncomfortable. She remembered her mother once said, if you want to capture a man's heart, you must first capture his stomach. But now, what should I do when my cooking skills are not as good as this man's? On the contrary, she herself was almost caught in the stomach by this man. Thinking of this, Shangguan Feiyan's pretty face suddenly turned red. What was she thinking about? Sumo smiled and said, they are all learned over the years. They are just some small dishes of home cooking. Shangguan Feiyan immediately said in a voice as soft as a mosquito, teach me. I don't know if it's her love for cooking or something else that made this gifted girl who never takes the initiative so successful. He actually took the initiative. When the three people on the side heard this, Chen Durong and Cheng Wushang immediately exchanged ambiguous glances. As for why he didn't say anything, it was naturally because he was afraid that Yi Xiaoshui would get angry. But this time, Yi Xiaoshui did not get angry. Instead, she sighed and turned her sourness into strength. She ate her meal without caring about her ladylike image. Really delicious. After a satisfying meal, the four of them took Chen Durong and started to stroll around the campus. Suddenly, Lady Sumo is out again. Sisters, assemble. Oh shit, it's Goddess Shangguan and Goddess Yi. What a feast for the eyes. What a feast for the eyes. Sisters, Senior Shangguan is so beautiful. Woohoo, with such an outstanding person, do we still have hope? Advertisement. Didn't you say before that you would just watch quietly? No way, no way, you believe such nonsense. Quote. The beautiful scenery naturally attracted many students, and the number of students this time was truly explosive. The popularity of Shangguan Feiyan and Yi Xiaoshui, plus the popularity of Sumo, directly brought the number of people to thousands. Screams and wolf howls continued. This is a very normal phenomenon in Shanghai University. Every time a person who has become famous appears, he will be surrounded by crowds of onlookers. This is the worship and admiration for those geniuses. If that famous figure who is about to graduate from the senior year shows up, it will be even more explosive. Walking on the campus, a long queue followed the five people. It was very lively. Some freshmen who have passed the assessment and entered the school were also attracted and immediately couldn't take their eyes off it. The crowd dispersed only when the school broadcast came out, asking all students to gather immediately in the playground hall. Because the annual opening ceremony is about to begin, these seniors must register immediately. At this time, in the principal's office, Sumo was called over by Feng Xiaoyao alone. At this time, Feng Xiaoyao's facial features were not obscured by the green light. Sumo saw the principal's appearance for the first time. He looks middle-aged, with handsome features and the image of an elegant uncle. Feng Xiaoyao was looking at Sumo with a smile at this moment. The more he looked, the more satisfied he became. A few days ago, after returning from the battlefield, he received the videos recorded by the teachers, which were records about Sumo. When seeing Sumo fighting against the monster Tide alone, and the full burst of fighting power, he was so excited. I have definitely underestimated Sumo's potential. Feng Xiaoyao now re-evaluated himself and believed that the talent displayed by Sumo was definitely the best in the history of Modu University. Advertisement. All those champions who graduated from Magic City University were not as outstanding as Sumo at his age. Such talent can only be matched by the few people with SS abilities in history. Looking at Sumo, Feng Xiaoyao suddenly smiled and said, Xiao Su, I called you here this time because I want you to be responsible for selecting the candidates for this freshman competition. Because of this battle, the pressure on us humans has increased, so the plan to train talents must be carried out in advance. This year's freshman competition is the first step and will be held in advance, probably next week. As for the candidates, they are the 10 best freshmen from each school, so they must be screened. Of these 10, there is no doubt that you, the special recruits, will go to represent the face of our Magic City University. I am sure you are assured, but I have decided to let you screen the remaining 9. After all, you have fought with some of them, so you should be clear about their potential and current strength. Is that okay? Sumo was shocked when he heard Feng Xiaoyao's words. Trust yourself so much. In the past, the number of places for Shanghai University to participate in the competition had to be decided after repeated consideration and competition. Now, Feng Xiaoyao actually gave him full responsibility and put the reputation of Modu University this year in the hands of Sumo. This is absolute trust. After all, this is not an ordinary competition. If you lose, you lose. It doesn't matter. The freshman competition is related to the starting resources for freshmen of a school, so it is very important. Sumo took a deep breath. Principal, do you trust me so much? The words fell. Feng Xiaoyao grinned. I naturally believe in my own vision and your ability. Sumo smiled when he heard this. Okay, then I'll take this job. Seeing Sumo agreed, Feng Xiaoyao nodded, and then continued to say with a smile, with a hint of expectation in his tone. This freshman competition is listed as the first step in the plan to train newcomers, and the rewards are very generous. This is still confidential for now, but it doesn't hurt to tell you. One of the rewards for the top 50 in this freshman competition is to go directly to an undeveloped treasure land. Do you know what this means? Although the highest reward in the past was also to go to a treasure land, those were already excavated by the government. For your class, because of the intensive training plan, you can go directly to the undeveloped land. This means that your opportunities will be very high, with all possibilities, but at the same time, it is also very dangerous, with the possibility of premature death. Of course, that's what I said, but the government will still clear away the dangers that you can't deal with. Hearing this, Sumo's eyes widened. Oh shit. The government is so generous. This is a treasure land. Even for those that have already been developed, it is difficult for universities to get places. Now, they are using undeveloped land as a reward. It couldn't be more generous. Although the danger is higher than those already developed treasure lands, on the other hand, the opportunities are hundreds of times greater. I believe that every proud young person knows how to choose. Chapter 75. The Man of the Year appears. Walking out of the principal's office, Sumo still felt a little emotional. This year's freshman competition, awesome. This undeveloped treasure land will hopefully allow him to make another fortune. With his current true strength, facing an ordinary Diamond Realm warrior, regardless of whether he can defeat the enemy or not, at least he can save his life. Of course, it would still be very dangerous if he faced an invincible general like Mu Feng of the 9 demon-suppressing armies. After all, when you reach a high level, it becomes increasingly difficult to kill people above your level. What's more, Mu Feng and others are also very talented, and they will be 100% abused unless he is also promoted to the diamond level. Or you can unlock the strongest character again. The more templates you have, the more abilities you can transform into superpowers. All-round strength such as talent and foundation will undergo a qualitative change again, and combat power will soar. Take your time. Thinking secretly, Sumo then walked towards the playground hall. The first step of the opening ceremony is for the top student to give an opening speech. In the past, the top students from the sophomores, juniors and seniors would give the opening speeches. But this year is a little special. Sumo was appointed as the top student in advance by Feng Xiaoyao, so he was added as the top student. I'm going to give a speech to the freshmen. Well, to put it simply, it's just some chicken soup. At this time, after half a day, the freshman assessment of Magic City University has ended. The several B-level talented students who were admitted to Magic City University are naturally very excited. They wish they could go home and kill chickens and set off firecrackers without attending the opening ceremony. Those who failed the exam all hung their heads, had moist eyes, and stood in a daze outside the school gate, looking distraught. He was completely different from the proud look on his face when he first arrived. After a long time, this group of geniuses with B-level talents regained their spirits and went to other key universities. Although I didn't get into the school of my choice, I still have to continue on my path. Moreover, according to past graduation records, not to mention those monsters who were recommended and specially recruited, ordinary B-level students of Shanghai University did not necessarily have higher achievements than B-level students of other key universities. What will happen in the future is still uncertain. As for those students with C-level or even lower talent, they were all confused at this moment. Good job. Who said that you can just rely on luck? If you don't have B-level talent, you can't take the test. They are confused. In the end, I could only go looking for a school after gaining more experience and feeling dejected. If you delay any longer, you won't be able to enter the school. Advertisement. Damn. The playground hall is a large open-air playground, much larger than those martial arts arenas, and is also luxuriously decorated. Various quaint decorations that have been passed down from the technological age to the present day are hung all around, with sunlight shining through, making it look quite sacred. At this time, ordinary students in their sophomores and juniors were already ready and sat in the assigned seats. The freshmen looked around curiously, like curious babies, constantly observing the surrounding environment. Some LSPS were even looking at the seniors with sneaky eyes and drooling. Here they come. Suddenly, someone exclaimed. All the students at the scene looked towards a special passage. From the passage, students with outstanding temperament walked out, each with an expression of indescribable confidence. Then they slowly walked to the front of their respective classes and sat down naturally in the prominent position at the front. Are they the sophomores and juniors who were recommended for admission and the specially recruited students? Hiss, their aura is so terrifying. Yeah, when I saw them, I couldn't even look at them. Their aura was too strong. Who is that senior girl in the purple dress? She looks so beautiful. Brother, let me, a person with a lot of information, tell you. Before I entered school, I knew most of the celebrities in Magic City. Senior Yun Xian, the top goddess in the 3rd year. Together with Senior Shangguan, they are known as the twin flowers of Magic City. Although there are many goddesses among the other seniors, these two are the most famous. Gulu, how nice it would be if a goddess like this could just look at me. I would definitely have a cardiac arrest. You're dreaming. There are countless outstanding seniors pursuing Senior Sister Yun, and there are many influential figures in the special enrollment. If you want Senior Sister Yun to like you, unless you are as outstanding as Chief Su, it is possible to complete a sister-brother relationship. Otherwise, just dream on. Stop talking, can't I just why? The discussions naturally came from the freshmen, who were very excited, and of course, the ordinary sophomores and juniors. He looked at those evil figures with the same awe, and also secretly looked at Yun Zi and some of the evil seniors. Shangguan Feiyan and Yi Xiaoshui were already sitting in the front row of their sophomore class, attracting a lot of attention. As for Cheng Wushang, he sat with Chen Durong in the seat of an ordinary freshman. Advertisement. According to the rules, the seats at the front row are for special admission students, followed by recommended students. Originally, Cheng Wuxiang wanted to pull Chen Durong to sit in the front, but Chen Durong ran to sit with ordinary students because he was not visible. Cheng Wuxiang naturally couldn't let him sit here alone, so he accompanied him. In the words of Cheng Wuxiang, my brother Durong is too low-key. At this time, amid waves of exclamations, the seniors also arrived. Even the ordinary students had an unusually terrifying aura. Especially the small group of people walking in the front, their aura was the best in the whole venue, and each of them was amazing. The real school celebrity, especially the handsome young man in white who was in the lead and had an imposing manner. As soon as he appeared, the screams of the senior students never stopped. Seeing this scene, some teachers could only shake their heads helplessly. Ji Yu Chen, the top senior student, the most popular university in Shanghai. The grandson of King Ji Yu Chengfeng, and the eldest son of the ancient Ji Yu family in Demon City. Moreover, he is a monstrous being with dual superpowers, one S-level special type and the other A-level elemental type, and both of them are very powerful. Currently, he is also the student with the highest cultivation level in Magic City University, at the peak of the 9-star Gold Realm, with 1 foot halfway into the Diamond Realm. Once you graduate, you can directly join the God-Killing Legion and be appointed as a trainee general. A true genius. In addition to him, several other influential figures also created a climax. They are all people who have attracted much attention, among them is Shangguan Qinghong. Soon, the group of seniors took their seats. Just after the seniors took their seats, a slender figure walked in from the passage for freshmen. He had deep sword-like eyes, handsome features, a faint smile on his lips, and was dressed in black. In terms of temperament, she is not inferior to those influential seniors. The person who came was naturally Sumo. I was pulled away for a private talk by Feng Xiaoyao, which delayed me a bit, but now it seems that I have barely caught up. Cheng Wuxiang, who was chatting with Chen Durong, saw this and immediately grinned and said, Brother Mo, we are here. The shouting was so loud that everyone looked over at once.